What is up, everybody? Welcome to the first annual Carpool Gaming Game of the Year Awards. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Turford, the man on the moose, or the weatherman on the moose if you'd prefer. And I am joined by four other illustrious hosts and maybe some hosts along the way later in the show. First up, the bearded one himself, Seth Sergel. How's it going, Seth?
Hi, Ryan. Hi, it's going well. I'm glad to be here. This is going to be super fun. Hi, everybody. Hi.
Hi. And the Supreme Court of Canada himself, Court Lalonde. How's it going, Court?
It's, it couldn't be better today. Just fantastic.
And we got the PlayStation master himself, Matt Swinski. Matt, how's it going, Matt?
It's going well. My dude just having a bird of a time. Some would say that the bird is the word today. And I'm excited to be here with you guys.
And we got the laughing one, aka the pants man himself, Sean Capri. How's it going, Sean?
Ryan Turford, your dedication to having no second takes, whatever we're starting with, we've launched, we are going. It doesn't matter if I realize we were going live. And did I just flip the bird instead of a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1? Yes, I did. So welcome to youtube.com/Carpool Gaming. Hi, Ryan.
Hello. I mean, that's what we did there. You know, the worst case scenario, Sean, is that future Ryan has edited this portion out, or at least just blurred Sean's hand, so then no one actually
couldn't have started over. Definitely couldn't have started over.
We don't need to show. The show must go on because Court only has so much more time.
The rocket has left the station.
Of course.
Court's frozen face on the bird, please.
Anyways, this is our Game of the Year show where we talk about our favorite games of the year, not actually determining a game of the year, but just talking about the games we enjoyed the most throughout 2022. But the show is not just about us, the Carpool Gaming family. We also have lots of us, of the members of the community joining in as well on this celebration. In fact, 15 submissions this year, as well as you're going to actually see some additional people on video, which is going to be really sweet. So huge thank you to everyone who left submissions for us throughout the entire year. And also, we're going to be having more of the Carpool Gaming crew join us. In fact, every member of Carpool Gaming will be joining us this evening. Seth will be, Luckleth will be here in a little bit. Garrett Bland will be here, and we will even have a special guest, Vegetable, joining us a little bit later on as well. So look out for all that. It's going to be a great show. I'm so excited to get into this. So what we decided to do this year is the same thing as we did last year, because y'all seemed to like last year's show so much. We decided to do it again this year. We each came up with our 3 favorite games that we played this year. They didn't have to release in 2022. And these aren't like what we think like the critically are like the best games of the year. These are like just our favorites. We're going to talk about this. So you're going to hear some hot takes this year, I think. But I think we're going to have a good time talking about all this. So we're going to kind of go around the table, talk about those, and then we'll hear from some of y'all what some of your favorites are. So, of course, the man of the hour, Court Lalonde. I see what I did there, because you got to leave in an hour, but also you're the man of the hour. Get it? Huh? Ooh. Not just a hat rack, my friends. Court, you're going to go first. You have the honors of starting things off by telling us your 3rd favorite game that you played this year.
Well, I think I'd be remiss if I didn't mention this game, because I think I talked about it to nauseum, almost to the fact that I got brought on a podcast to talk about it. I was actually in shock. So my 3rd favorite game this year has to be MLB The Show 22. I played it on Switch, I played it on Xbox, and I played it on PlayStation. And I put together almost 500 hours playing this game. I played this game so much that I literally suffered an injury in my arm from the constant always pressing the same button to the fact that I can't play the game. And I'm worried that when MLB The Show 23 launches, that I won't be able to play this game. And I think it was just a game that right place, right time. I never got into MLB The Show 21 this much. I played it. I play a lot of sports games, but for some reason, the nostalgia of collecting cards. So in the game, you actually can play a certain mode in the game where you do these programs and you collect cards. And one of the very first programs had me collect a Joe Carter card. And then I was like, oh my God. So then I was like, oh, I'm going to collect this Ultimate Blue Jays team. And then it just snowballed. And I couldn't stop playing this game. And they do reward you for playing it. And I got good at the game. Like, it was like one of those games very rarely that I was like, oh my God, like I'm winning, I'm playing online, I'm beating people. I was enjoying my time. I'm figuring out the meta on how to have like the best teams. I pulled like the ultimate Mike Trout card during the season. Like, it's like the thing you can't get. And I pulled it off. And it was just, I don't know. I just enjoyed my time with it, and it was a good mind suck. Like I just would just turn my brain off and just play this game and not have to worry about anything else in my life. And I just truly enjoyed it. It's just very rare that I know most people will pick like, the Elden Rings and all that. You know what? No, MLB The Show 22. Game was phenomenal. It, like I said, I was lucky enough to get a code from Carpool, but I went and bought it on the Switch when I went on vacation. I told Sean, I was like, there's no way I'm not playing this game. And it was one of the reasons I got a Switch. So I could play that game.
Yeah, dude.
Like so many others, Court. I'm sure that's the story for most people. Like buying a
System
Switch.
seller.
Definitely a
Yeah,
system
killer
seller.
app.
Yeah, pack it in.
Yeah. So I just want more games. This is my year of having fun, playing games with my daughter, or just not worrying what everybody's talking about in the zeitgeist. Just playing what I wanted to play.
Nice, man.
A boot.
And actually, like,
Love that.
we compared this a little bit because, of course, the same week that we're recording this, the PlayStation wrap-ups came out where we got to see our hours played for the games this year. And I was telling Court after he posted his hours, and then when he saw my the hours for number one game, which of course was Final Fantasy 14 this year, I was like, you know what, Court, you've almost played MLB The Show almost as much as I played Final Fantasy 14 this year. Which is just a scary thought to think about.
But that's on
memo.
but hold on, that was only on PlayStation.
Oh.
No. When you combined your Xbox number and my
Yes.
PlayStation number,
Yes.
or in your
Yes,
PlayStation
we're
number,
both.
it's about the same as my Final Fantasy 14 number, is what I'm saying.
It's crazy.
Don't try and go over his Final Fantasy number. What are you trying to do there, Court? You know he's going to shut that down.
I that's fine. I actually was like almost embarrassed when I looked at the total numbers, and I was like, you know what? Good, I bought that game on the Switch. I feel like
Embarrassed?
well, it's a lot of hours to put into a video game. That's a lot.
It's not
Yeah,
that
but
many hours.
you love it.
Yeah, if you enjoy it.
I
feel
played
like
it so much that I had an injury in my arm. I had to go to the massage therapy for it. It was terrible.
I feel like next year we're going to have to get you like a little robot that just like spins and continuously presses the button for you, so you can just sit there and literally automate it instead of getting another injury.
I
Or you
think
can
I
just start
might.
using your nose, you can use your toes, you can use your elbows, just get creative.
Well, there's actually you can actually change the swing mechanics, so you're not pressing a button. You can actually use the analog sticks. I think I might try that out because then I might not have the injury because it's not the constant, but it's the timing. So with a
I think
hockey
you
game,
need
you're
Dance Revolution pads. Play them with the little dance
Yeah.
pads.
Play with Connect and just yell at the TV. Swing!
It's funny. I don't know. We'll see. I know I'm going to definitely review when MLB The Show 23 comes. I will be reviewing it, and I think this time when I review it, it's going to have more in-depth review because I'm going to have so much experience, and MLB. Like it's just gonna be like I know exactly what was in this game, so we'll see.
For a second there, Court, I really thought in my mind you were about to say, and when I review MLB 23 this year, I'm going to be playing it with the Eye of Judgment camera from the PlayStation 3 using the Eye of Judgment.
Yes.
Well,
Wonderbook.
Obviously.
if
Turn
there
the
is a
page.
VR,
Yes.
if there's a VR version of this game, I am so in.
That would actually be
Now
really fun.
I know so much about this game that I know that it's even going to come out early now. So it's coming out early this year. It's not going to be in April. It's going to be in March.
Maybe it could be anything. Well, there you go. Well, I mean, we knew from Matt and I, of course, know we were going to hear about MLB The Show at some point tonight. So I'm glad we got it out of the way to start the show off. Speaking of Matt, though, Matt, what's your third favorite game this year? I want to hear from you.
So I think my list is going to surprise everyone just because as I kind of sat down to really think about my top three games,
Like 7 minutes ago.
yeah, about 7.5 minutes ago now. I really just kind of thought like which games are the ones that pop into my mind first, which ones have stayed with me. So actually in my third place spot, I want to give a shout out to Blue Box, just because I feel like the quality of the trailer that they put out this year, all couples. Okay, my real third spot is Marvel Snap. All three games that I'm going to talk about tonight are games that I had absolutely like no hype for. I knew nothing about them. There was no they all kind of caught me at a weird time. Marvel Snap has just completely taken over my life the last few months. I'm obviously a big Marvel fanboy, so for me, throwing Marvel on a card game is two of my most favorite things. the fact that it is just so much fun to play. I've made like 8 or 9 different decks, and usually when I play deck builders, I have like 1 or 2 and just kind of ride them out. I have made so many different decks around so many different card combinations. I have put money into this game, which, like, again, I never do that with a free-to-play game, let alone a mobile game. I've bought like every battle pass since the game came out, just because for me, I do find them worth it, and I'm playing it so often that like I'm trying to get in usually like an hour to 2 every day, just kind of spaced out throughout the day, because the games are quick. It's not egregiously pay to win by any stretch of the imagination. And a lot of stuff that you pay for is cosmetic, which again, you can upgrade your cards, but all that does is make them look cooler. I just think that Marvel Snap it hit at the right time. It's kind of just been, it's just part of my day to day now, which I haven't had a game be that in quite a long time. That just kind of, again, like, oh, I'm going to the bathroom, or oh, I have a couple minutes here, or I'm doing this here. Let me toss up Marvel Snap, get a couple games in. It's just a ton of fun. It's Marvel, and I cannot wait to see what they're going to bring in store in 2023. I got my younger brother and my cousin on it in the last few days, and now we're obviously all just waiting for PvP to hit so we can actually start playing with each other. Marvel Snap is what a mobile game should be in every stretch of the imagination. It doesn't feel like it's after your wallet. It doesn't feel crappy. It's just a ton of fun, and it's my number 3.
Nice.
Amazing game. That actually was almost my number 3.
Right?
I was very, very close to making it my number 3. It's like my number 4 or 5. Like
Which is
it's
weird because for a lot of people, it's their number 2 game. Because when they poop.
Audio listeners, I'm shaking my head at
There you go,
everyone right
yep.
now.
You just made a poop joke and it was good.
Attaboy. Nicely done, Sean.
All right.
So weird.
Made it all worth it.
I tried,
so-
Matt, because of you, Matt. I tried to get into that game. Couldn't do
Fair
it.
enough. Fair enough.
I mean, it is
I
a
tried,
card
though.
game, ultimately. You
Yeah.
know, if you don't like them, you're not going to like them. But it's a really, really good card game.
Honestly, I no longer will I say I don't like a certain genre of games, because
Thank you.
Vampire Survivors
Yes.
would never be a game for me, and it hit at the right spot. Where we're at Game Awards, it was like, fine, Sean won't stop. Fine, I'm gonna download the game. And I was like, you can even play it, because that's like breaking his rule, playing a game while doing a podcast. And I was like, oh my god, I'm playing it on my phone now. I play it on my iPad in the morning. I'm just
There you
like,
go.
this is so easy to play. It's a very good game. I usually don't like roguelikes, but now I'm like, well, all right, like this is great.
Yeah.
There you go. And so that actual, my entire speech was actually just a setup for Sean to make that number 2 joke. My actual number 3 game is, no, I'm just kidding. Let's keep moving. But yeah,
Thanks,
Marvel
buddy.
Snap.
Let's keep.
That's a good one though, Matt, because I'm actually glad you brought it up, because honestly, I don't know if anyone else has that on the list, because I think, like, other than Seth, I don't know of anyone else who really checked out Marvel Snap on
We have real games on our list,
I
not
guess.
mobile games. So,
But
you know.
yeah, that's
come
true.
on.
But
I'm
that-
just kidding.
that's like on my list of games that I wanted to try this year, and I just never got around to playing, because I people know I love card games. I love like Magic the Gathering, Hearthstone, and stuff. So, and of course, being created by the creator of Hearthstone, you know you're gonna get a good product there with Marvel Snap. But I don't know. I just never really got around to installing it on my phone, I guess. But also, I kind of hate playing games on my phone, so I would probably want to play it on PC. I
So
guess.
do I, dude. So do I. I will always start a game on my phone, play for like an hour, and then never go back to it. This is the only game I've come back to like every single day since this came out.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
I'm
And
right
I'll-
there with you.
Yeah, and it's of course totally up your alley too, because I know you love Marvel as well. So there's that too.
Yep.
But anyways,
And the one thing I will say is I'm like at almost like 1,000 on my collector score. My brother's playing it now, and he's like, "You should make a Spider-Man deck." I'd love to. I don't have Spider-Man.
But you
Let's
have Miles
continue.
Morales. I saw that tweet.
I do have
You were
Miles.
very happy about yourself.
I do
I
have
felt good
Miles.
for you that day.
I don't have Peter Parker Spider-Man. And I want
well.
Peter Parker Spider-Man.
no one likes Spider-Man anyways. It's fine. It's fine.
That is not true.
You what?
Moving on.
He is literally the number 1 comic book character, I would say, in the world. Is it
It is.
safe to say that? I think so.
Yeah.
I say
Spider-Man
Batman
card.
number 2. I say Spider-Man number 1.
Yeah.
And I love Batman. Spider-Man's got to be number 1.
Spider-Man is number 1.
And then Batman.
Well,
Definitely.
anyways, since Sean Capri is reeled away, Seth, I want to hear from you next. What is your third favorite game of 2022?
I struggled with this for a while. My number
struggled?
1 and 2 were very easy. I knew them right away.
Get
I
an
knew exactly
omnibus?
what they were going to be. But my number 3, I went back and forth on a lot.
He's got his Marvel cards. He found them.
Oh, you found them. There
Yeah,
they
he did.
are.
I knew he had them. When someone put out a tweet, I was like, he already has these. He showed me them.
He's got them in there.
He's got a shelf
my
life.
number 3 is going to be one that I know is not going to be on many people's end of year list. It's this little indie game called Once Upon a Jester. I adore this game. I love the message of it. It's hilarious. It's fun. It's like almost entirely improv. It's about these two like lifelong friends that start doing improv theater together. They used to be thieves. It's all a ruse to try to steal a diamond from a castle. And they wind up discovering that, oh, hey, actually, we love this. And it's all about sort of like finding your purpose in life and finding your true calling and like building a friendship together in the heart of it all. And it's got a whole bunch of really good music that I can't stop listening to because the developer of the game is actually a 4-person band from the Netherlands called Bonte Avond. And so they make these games. They also made a game called Everybody Wham Wham a couple of years ago. And it's super good. Like it's like this hilarious. It's like if you played a game that had like the humor of like South Park, just that constant like quick hit humor with kind of crude visuals like South Park, but then it's actually also very heartfelt and has like good like folksy indie music worked in.
So high on life with
I love
folksy
it.
indie music.
I love it so much, man. I can't stop thinking about it. I was so like enchanted by it. It's on PC and Switch, and it hasn't really left my head since I played through it. It's really
Dude, you just completely sold me on this game. I'm gonna pick this up because this looks awesome. So
I
thank
love
you for
it.
putting me on this
As
because I've
soon
never heard
as
of
he
this. And it
said
looks dope.
Finding. I was like Finding Nemo. That was like that's my dad brain. As soon as someone says something, I'm like, so how does this relate to a Disney movie?
What was it called again? I was totally paying
Once Upon a
attention.
Jester. Once Upon a Jester.
Yeah, I just looked it up. I'm gonna pick this up later. This looks awesome.
Yeah, actually,
Jester, what system?
It's on Switch and PC.
yeah.
Oh,
Like Seth brought this up, and
Steam Deck.
I've never heard of this game before, so I'm so glad you told us
Yeah.
about a new game because that sounds pretty cool.
Remember, Matt
I
is
love
going to in 2023. Matt Selinsky will be talking about the Steam Deck all the time.
Look at that thing.
Look at it.
It's a
Look at
beast.
this unit. It's a chonker.
Pretty quickly,
Does
we're
it
going
play
to be
Sonic
converting
Spinball?
all of our
Can I watch
shows.
hockey games on it?
Probably.
Microsoft Paint?
Does it have Sportsnet Now, the app?
Maybe. It's a computer, dude. Does a computer have Sportsnet Now, the app?
No, my phone does though.
It also has Sportsnet, the website that you can go to and watch.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's
can
not
say
the same.
Sportsnet.
I have Sportsnet Now, the app, and I can watch the hockey game while we do things.
Base Cadet Pinball 3D. Does it have that?
I used to love that.
maybe.
Remember that game? That
Yeah, dude.
Oh, so good.
I'm very excited
good.
for Matt and Garrett to start a Steam Deck podcast sometime next year because y'all are the Steam Deckers. But anyways, moving on.
Cringe at the word.
We gotta move on because Sean, I want to hear from you now. What is
I'm here
your?
all night, man. You don't
wow.
you don't have to go to me right away.
No.
Oh no,
Let's
we're
say it.
going to
Let's
you
say it.
now because
You should
we're
be
going to
wearing,
do
like, a
our round of
Dracula
three
cape.
before we move on to courts.
Imagine you had a Dracula cape to just be like,
No, I'm here to cause chaos. I appreciate Ryan keeping everybody on track and everything, but I'm here all night, dude. I'm not going to my number 3 game. Hi, I see a question coming in from Matt though. Hi, Matt.
Yeah, Matt from the press pool. Can we play a quick game before we
Yes.
continue on?
Yes.
Sure, what kind of
Yes,
game
I
are we
love
playing?
it.
Suggestion.
Games.
I would like to play a game. I want us to guess what our number 1 game of the year picks will be, and then by the end of the show, we'll see how accurate we were.
I already put mine in the Discord.
I was going to say
Mine's
courts
been
already
strong.
I
spoiled.
don't
Mine's
remember.
been
I don't remember
obvious.
any of them.
I don't
did
either.
not.
I actually know courts, so I won't bet.
I know Cordy declared in his
Okay,
review. So
then hold on. How about this then? We'll each take one person and we'll guess their game of the year. So if Ryan knows courts, Ryan can guess like mine. I'll guess somebody's, and so on and so forth.
I
Just
like
to
it.
add a little bit. You know what I mean? Just to
I
add a
like
little
it.
bit of chaos.
Secret Santa
I like it.
guessing.
yes,
Okay.
Matt. I like where
Okay,
you're at
I'm
with
gonna
this.
I'm gonna derail this thing real quick. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna bust out this. Okay.
Matt and Ryan are picking a JRPG. Oh my god, I did it.
How did you know?
Which one?
I don't know. It doesn't matter. They're all the same.
That's not true at
It
all.
won't be the show. It's the same baseball as it was last year.
Hey,
Look at me.
It is. I even said that when I was talking about it. I can't believe how much I enjoyed it.
Good God.
So Matt, what are you doing? Are you telling people who to pick for? Is that what are you jotting down
Oh,
what
is
Matt
this
for
like
exactly
us?
what I'm doing.
Santa, but with game.
I was
Okay,
going to say
you want me
Matt
to
needs to
do-
organize this game that he's suggesting.
Okay.
So
I'll do my
I'm working on
madness. I'll do my madness in the meantime.
Do it.
So I've got a lot of honorable mentions, but I also did a lot of game of the year cramming recently. But also, when I look back on 2022, I actually accomplished one of my 2021 New Year's resolutions, Ryan Turford, which was to just go back and play games that I like, even if I've played them before, but I know that they're good because I was having some existential crisis about playing all these new games, but I didn't love all of them. I'm like, I've got a lifetime collection of video games that I adore. So I want to give a couple shout outs. With the first one, Ryan, on my shiny new PC, I got my new graphics card, the 3080. I've got a bunch of teraflops. I got a 49-inch Samsung widescreen dealio thing here. So what did I do? Went to Steam and I bought Black Mesa, the Half-Life remaster that was like a fan project made into a real project. And Black Mesa is the real deal, man. And if y'all have a PC, or I wonder about that Steam Deck, Black Mesa, I think that would be really cool. Half-Life is the real deal. I just wanted to let you guys know that. And I have a whole list of these types of games and also my real top 3. We got lots of time. We got people coming on in. We got stuff happening. So I'm in no rush.
For a second there, Sean, I really thought you were going to say, and I played Total Annihilation on my computer.
That is on the list though for 2023. Total, dude. I bought like a bunch of like on GOG. I have Warcraft 1, Total Annihilation, Command and Conquer, all the stuff, dude. So
I mean, is it
forget all
bad,
these
Sean?
new games?
Is it bad that I kind of want us to play a game of Total Annihilation with each other? Because I think that
I would love that. Oh my gosh, yes, please. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt from the press pool. Okay, I have a suggested order here. Okay, I completely randomized this. There's no rhyme or reason outside of the thing that Ryan knew courts. Does anybody else know anybody else's?
I don't think so. I think I might know
we're wrapping
Seth's. I might know Seth's.
Okay,
I've been
perfect.
screaming about mine for like 6 months.
Yeah, I think I know that one.
So I'll guess Sean's. Okay,
Good
Ryan's
luck.
gonna guess mine.
Remember the rules. He can be any game. It could be a game from last year.
It could
know.
be a game from
Sean's is
1997.
Mine is this year. No, mine.
Oh, it
I
is.
have a real 2022 game of the year this year. I don't worry about me. I'm off on the side. I'm talking. I just said
It's
I'm
definitely
going to talk
gonna be
about
the
my
one that he's
favorite
been
games I
playing.
played this year that
It's gonna
didn't
be
come out
the-
this
It's
year.
going to be the one he's been streaming. It's definitely going to be that.
Okay.
Trash fire every game.
Okay, Court is gonna guess Seth's. Okay, Seth is gonna guess Locklith's. Sean is gonna guess the surprise guests. Okay,
Easy. Oh,
John,
easy.
that's a slam dunk.
Yeah.
maybe. Locklith will guess Court's, and surprise guest will guess Ryan's.
But how are they
I
going to
love
guess
it.
them?
This is the best.
Just guess.
Well, we'll
what do you
figure
think
it
is
out.
going to
We'll
be the
figure
game of the year?
Cool.
Okay, I'll go
I'm
first.
so glad I don't have to guess Ryan's.
Yeah.
I know that's why it's part of the fun of this.
But
this
Seth is
episode.
going to have like some. I'm never going to get this. I'm just going to.
I'm not gonna- It's part of the fun. It's
Okay.
part of the fun.
It's going to be
Okay,
some indie darling.
Maybe, or maybe it's MLB.
No,
Who knows,
it's
Court?
Definitely not.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess Sean's.
Banjo.
I'm gonna guess Sean's game of the year.
And I'm not going to tell you right away.
No.
Obviously. You're just lodging your
guess.
guesses.
Yeah,
Okay.
we're just launching the guesses now. Put them in our back pocket, and next year's game of the year we can revisit this list and see how accurate we were. Okay.
I like it. I like it. Serenity now, Ryan. It's all fine. This is great.
This is all good. Okay, I'm gonna guess Sean's game of the
I love you,
year.
Ryan.
Okay. I'm gonna take a wild. I'm gonna guess Elden Ring. I think I'm just gonna guess that it grabbed him in the last couple weeks, and he's been enjoying it, and that's what I'm gonna guess.
I'm going to
Ryan,
have to go with how smart Matt usually is at this stuff, like when Fantasy Critic and all that. And Sean's just like, dude, he's in my mind right now.
I don't know. I could be entirely off base here. This is what
I
I'm
think you
going
are.
with my gut. Ryan, what do you think my game of the year is?
So this is a tough one because I know Matt liked a lot of stuff this year.
Thank God Ryan got Matt because I was.
This is a tough one.
I'm bouncing between two games, but I'm actually going to say I think it's the same as someone else's. I think it's God of War. I think Matt's is God of War.
Okay. Court, what do you think Seth's game of the year is?
Xenoblade.
Ooh, look at you coming out swinging.
I have no clue. It's between that or Mario.
Yes,
Like,
again.
it's-
Hold on. Wait. Which Xenoblade? And I need the full title.
then I don't. Okay, then
Okay, just tell me which Xenoblade. The numbered entry.
I have no clue.
It's not even a name.
Do you need help, Court? Do you need me to show you the box?
Chronicles,
The box is right
Okay,
there.
then I'll change it. I can't see that.
The new one.
The new one.
I just want to see if you can get
3.
This is what
Xenoblade
parents do at GameStop every year. My son wants to
It's
play
just-
Xenoblade.
okay, so for
whatever
me-
the new one is.
For me, when I look at Seth, it's either Mario Rabbids. He was okay on. He really liked Pokemon, but I don't remember if he liked Xenoblade. And Sean, you said 6 months ago, so I'm like, well, that's older. So okay, that's my brain right now.
It's,
All right.
it's
I said
actually
older?
it's a good guess. It's a good
It's
guess.
a good
I think I
guess.
said
It's a good
that.
guess.
Good
Yeah,
guess.
it's a
Good guess. Good
Good
guess.
guess.
It's not the right one because Sean was
Close, but you're way off.
I'm okay with that.
Good guess.
Yeah.
Good guess. Seth, what do you think Locklith's game of the year is?
I think she's gonna go with Disney Dreamlight.
Okay.
I think that's what she's gonna do.
Can I
Okay.
guess for Lockless too?
No, you have to guess.
I think Lockless. I'm not gonna guess for anybody else, but I think Lockless is Cult of the Lamb.
That was my second pick. Can I actually say too? I was thinking the same thing for Matt. I was like, I've heard Matt talk about it's either going to be God of War or it's going to be Citizen Sleeper. It's going to be one of those two.
See, I had Citizen Sleeper in
those
the
were the
battle
two I
by
had in
mind,
mind.
but I also
Yeah.
had a couple other ones from Matt that I won't spoil because I'll talk about that later.
Okay. Sean, what do you think our surprise guest's game of the year is going to be?
I think it's gonna be Disney Dreamlight
Gotta be.
Land.
100%.
Yeah.
Gotta be.
100%.
Hold on. Sorry. What? Which Disney game?
The new one.
Disney-
The one with Lilo and Stitch in it, okay? That one.
Pull it out of the background.
It's the one with the Disney princesses and the farming.
Okay. So then our final two will be for Locklith and our surprise guests. So we'll keep that in our back pocket. When they arrive, I'll ask them first thing. Before we do
hold
anything
on.
else, I'll
Matt,
ask them.
we forgot
Yes.
about Garrett. Garrett's also coming too.
Oh my gosh. We're uneven numbers now.
We're all guessing for Garrett.
Yeah, we
Okay,
can all
that's
guess
the-
with Garrett
that's the-
collectively.
We'll all guess. Let's make a group guess right now. What do we think Garrett's game of the year is?
It's the same one that Court guessed. I think it's Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
I think it's the Steam
Yeah.
Deck. Just the entirety
Just
of
the
the thing.
Steam Deck.
Yeah, just Steam Deck.
I can see it.
Xenoblade Chronicles 3?
Yeah.
Like it was
high on that one?
Xenoblade also.
Although
Yeah.
Garrett could surprise me because he's the person that I think could actually realistically pick for his number one game to be a game that's not from this year. Because like last year, one of his favorite games was Chrono Trigger. Was one of his favorite games of last year. So
So I think we have to go with Cooking Mama.
yeah, is that what
Right.
we're hearing?
Definitely Cooking Mama
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the Wii.
Yeah, on the Wii.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with the group guess of Xenoblade Chronicles 3 for Garrett.
That worked out really well.
Okay.
I like that.
I'm like 95% positive that's what he's gonna say when he gets here. But
And, then, and to keep Garrett in the game because so he can guess somebody's. Ryan, the first community member that comes to your mind, go. That submitted
Marcus
something
McCracken.
for. Okay, so Garrett is going to guess Marcus McCracken's game of the year.
Oh, this is amazing.
Oh, it's gonna be so good. Then it could really be anything.
I'm saying. All right. My game is I'm going to put a pin in my game until we have surprise guest and Locklith join us.
That's a
Excellent.
good game, buddy.
Thank you for indulging me. Let's go.
I like it.
Thanks for having it. Well, real quick before we move on, because I need to get Court in with some more of his picks before he's got to go. Let's bring in Sam from the community because Sam,
What's up, Sam?
submitted
Sam?
their picks over on the submissions sheet, and they said their favorite games of the year are as follows: Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Apparently, no explanation is necessary. We just assume that's a good game, but throwing it up there. By the
It
way,
was a good game.
Kirby,
was a good game.
very popular choice with the community. Y'all are going to find out later.
That's
today.
awesome.
Nice. Love that.
Next up, Pokemon Violet. They say Pokemon Violet is broken, but it was still a ton of fun to play. And then Pokemon Legends Arceus, because it had so many good new features added to the game. So there we go. We got
Love it.
Sam in
Great
there.
list.
And then
Yeah,
I'm also
Sam.
going to bring in this
Way to
other
be,
one
Sam.
as well. This comes to us from Dirk Haas, otherwise known as Hopple, which, by the way, Hopple writes in
Oh.
all the time on the RPG Cave. Never told us their name before. So we didn't know Hopple's name before, but now we know. We know Hopple's name is Dirk, which is pretty cool. So
Knowing is half the battle.
you say Doc?
Hopple says
Doxed.
their three favorite games of the year are Elden Ring for fantastic design for the world, creatures, and buildings. Yakuza 0 and 2 because they love the
Nice.
story and characters. I knew you would love that, Matt. And then their favorite game of the year, believe it or not, might warm Sean Capri's heart. Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels DLC.
Man.
It's a lot of fun.
Yes.
Hopple, an individual, of great taste.
Yeah.
I will say.
Huge
What a
shout out
list.
to Hopple as well. And of course, Hopple, a huge supporter of the RPG Cave. So of course, huge shout out to
Love
Hopple.
that.
Court, even though we haven't, Sean and I haven't given our number threes, we're going back to you for your number two. What is your second favorite game that you played this year, my friend?
Court, you're muted.
Oh, it happened.
The Last of Us Part 1 remake. It made me cry a lot. It did a lot for me. Like, this game was a game that I have finished 6 times before I played this again. And the going back and the way they redid the facial expressions and stuff, I can't believe how much it added to the game. It actually blew me away. And there was the beginning of the game where I actually had to stop playing, and I couldn't play the game until I woke up and hugged my daughter. It was just, I couldn't get back to the game. This is also the first time I played this game since my daughter was born. So it's been the first time in almost 6 years that I replayed this game, and I couldn't believe the emotional journey that a video game took me on. So Last of Us, 100%.
I'm with you, dude. That was on my honorable mentions just because, like, I going into that game was very much like, what's the point? Like, I'm glad new people will be able to experience the game retold. And then once I started playing it, like, the amount of love that they put back into that game, the way that just the entire presentation just elevates the story, it hit me hard all over again. It may still be the worst of the two, but that part
You
one.
beat me to it, you son of a bitch. I'm like, I'm being kind. I'm letting him say his piece about this game before I throw my shade at The Last of Us Part 2 for no good reason, but you son of a gun.
I got there
see what you
first.
did.
But no, Last of Us Part 1, like, this was a time where I felt like from the ground up completely nailed it and was worth it. And I hope more people get to experience it because it's once in a generation kind of game.
Nice, man. Nice. Yeah, it's one of those things where I talked about it before. It's like, as much as I love seeing the new improvements with the game, I'm just like, I know that it's a journey that was so special the first time I played it that it's like, I don't know if I could ever go back to that at this point. And like, maybe I'll, want to replay it after watching maybe the HBO show, coming out next month, which is also very exciting because it looks really awesome. But it's cool that you really enjoyed it. So I really appreciate you talking about it as well. But anyways.
Anybody
moving
else
on.
play it?
Yeah. Wait,
Just me?
just you?
No, just you. Ryan, did you play it?
No, I didn't play it. No.
You didn't play The Last of Us Part 1?
I played it on PlayStation 3, Sean. I didn't need to play it again. That's
Yeah,
what
same.
my whole
the
spiel
last
was
time
just
you
all
played
about.
this game?
Yeah. Because
You
again,
didn't even play
Me
like the
too.
PS4 remaster? Seth, you
No.
guys.
I only need to play it
same.
once, Sean. It was so special the first time that I
Absolutely
feel
not.
like it would ruin it if I play it again.
And we all know that, like, as special as the first one is, there came along part 2, which just elevated everything about part 1. So why go back?
Please
Yeah.
stop.
That's true.
You're
I mean, Matt makes
Nobody
good
even
points.
believes. I
over
don't
there.
even think you believe it.
I
Yeah.
do believe it.
No.
Yeah, I don't think you do anymore. I think the
Believe
best
it.
part is we have it on tape of Matt pretty much by the time we finished our Last of Us Part 1 remake discussion. He was definitely on team Part 1. So
I think
hey,
you
Matt,
need to-
hey,
I
Matt,
think-
Matt,
hey,
Matt,
hey,
can I say
hey,
2 words for you?
What?
Fuck it.
No.
For me, this is an honorable mention, not as a disqualification for the game or anything. Like, it's just, it's mostly just that it's a remake. I just thought,
Sure.
like, it's definitely one of the best games that I played all the way through to completion. So special. I really do think that the remaster brings out another quality to it. Like, it totally enhances the experience. And you guys are making a mistake. If the only time you've ever played it is PS3, that's a mistake. And shame on you. Embarrassed.
I mean, I'll play.
Play it.
Let's just throw it out there, Sean. I'm more likely to play The Last of Us Part 2 again than go back and play The Last of Us Part 1.
You've got to. Now you're just trying to
I
hurt me.
I
Now
still
you
haven't
just-
played The Last of Us Part 2.
That's fine.
I still haven't gotten to it.
That's fine. Play this one again. You don't have to play The Last
mean-
of Us.
I mean, right, but-
Some people say they didn't need a sequel.
But we know that a third one is coming. So when Last of Us
Yep.
Part 3 comes out, Sean, it'll be my time to replay 2 to get ready for 3. To
There you
remember
go.
what happened.
Good. That totally
Hey,
worked for Star Wars.
Can we just say that Ryan just talked about a rumor? Just saying.
That is the Game of the Year show where anything goes, where Sean pulls
Anything
out
goes.
Marvel
Anything
overpowered cards in the middle of our discussions. So
Dude, these cards are amazing.
Dude.
1994. Yeah,
We set the tone in literally the first second of the episode coming into it. Okay, we just kicked the door right down. And I don't know if we're
Let's keep
ever going
that
to bounce back.
Sean,
I
do
do
you
want to
have
see
the
that.
one-
Show me.
Sean, do you
I'll
have
pull it
the
up.
series before that?
Do you have a
Do you have
Spider-Man?
the
Not
19
nearby. Not nearby. I do have a Spider-Man.
Also, Sean,
Do you
for
have
the
it?
audio listeners at home who are listening to this podcast, please make sure to describe what you're doing.
Oh, I'm just pulling out my Overpower cards, and I've got a
Sean,
sweet
do you
Venom
have
card.
That's the Sweet Venom card.
Do you have
Yeah.
the 1992
Venom.
Marvel cards?
Not nearby. No. Today's all about Overpower, you guys.
No one cares.
Today's,
Do you have a Spider-Man Overpower?
I do. Yeah, and Spider-Man
see
was
it.
rare.
Can I see
Spider-Man
it?
was
I
hard
want
to
to see it.
find.
Sean, show me.
I'll show you Spider-Man.
Okay.
My
Spider-Man's on a brick wall, and he's in a spotlight. I actually have two Spider-Men. Look at that.
Nice.
Ooh,
That's sick.
Spider-Man?
look how
Spider-Man.
look how fancy that is.
Yeah, man. This is a coveted card right here.
That is a coveted card right
So
there.
just remind Matt the day, because it will happen.
What?
I will be in Sean Capri's house, and I will take that card for you.
Thank you.
Heist?
I know you
What's
would.
happening.
We're gonna heist.
Yeah, we're gonna do a heist.
We're gonna do a
How'd
heist.
it would be really nice if I was just able to give it to you
Nope.
or Matt as a
Nope,
gift.
nope.
No,
It
you
has
have to
be
pull off
done
a
this-
heist.
it has
Not
to-
only is he going to take the
has to
card,
be-
he's going to take my joy of giving
No.
away.
It's an elaborate.
A crime.
It's going to be an elaborate heist.
And you know what? We're gonna podcast the entire time.
It'll be like that. It'll be
course
like
we
that
are.
moment that I just
PlayStation Drive. We're in Sean Capri's basement. He doesn't know we're here.
That's
Live reaction
Sean.
to
Correct
the
me if I'm
heist.
wrong, but this is almost as bad as that short we had earlier this year, where someone asked us on the Xbox Drive what would happen if we switched bodies for
Yes.
20 minutes, and I said I would go open all of your stuff.
Everybody wants to steal all my stuff. What the heck is going on? What did I do to you guys?
You have a lot of cool
Except-
stuff.
Derail your entire Game of the Year conversation.
It's all good.
Plus
It's all
Ultra.
good. Well, anyways, before we go back to court for his final selection,
Just get him a T-shirt already. Like
I am going
Seth
to
and I
talk
have the
about.
not a podcast shirt, but can Ryan just have the anyway sign? at
No,
all
because I
times?
still
And
think
then
the best
Anyways.
shirt for
little
me
bubbles
should
that
be.
comes up and like the comic bubbles, like boop boop boop.
Like
Anyway.
Wile E. Coyote. Like he just holds up the sign and it's just like, anyways.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right, who's up next? What's happening? Ryan, get the show
Monocles.
back.
Anyways,
Monocle.
Sean, getting back on track before we go back to court. I'm actually going to go first because you blew me off a little bit and talk about my first honorable mention of the show.
Nice.
Uh,
So honorable mentions are allowed. Okay.
Oh,
well, they weren't really
okay.
allowed, but since you started with honorable mentions, Sean,
Nice.
anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and bop in with one anyways.
Love it.
Because, there's this little game that I rediscovered back this year, Sean, and I played a ton of it. Almost as much time I sunk into this game as Court sunk into MLB The Show this year. And that game was The Sims 4. It has so many expansion packs. You can become a
Yeah.
werewolf, but also a vampire, but also a mermaid, but also just live forever and become this like famous YouTuber that lives on the beach. But you could also again like fall in love and make like 60 children and just live your eternal life writing books and going down to playing video games and stuff. Oh man, The Sims 4 just broke me this year. I couldn't believe how much time I sunk into The Sims 4 and just had so much fun I had playing it. It was also kind of marked kind of my return to streaming and just loving streaming again after Sean kept pestering me forever to stream. And then I just pretended like it was my
welcome.
idea to do it this whole time. And Sean had nothing to do with it. Man, The Sims 4 was so much fun this year. And actually, I kind of wish our special guest was here a little bit. Maybe me and the special guest will talk about The Sims 4 a little bit. Because I know they also appreciate The Sims 4, but I loved The Sims 4 this year. It actually was like one of the highlight moments for me was just coming on the Xbox Drive every single week and just talking Sean's ear off about The Sims 4 every single week. That was one of my favorite things to do on any podcast this year was, my long, and here's what happened on The Sims this week, It's just kind of like this soap opera that everyone was kind of following along with. But Matt from the press pool, I want to hear from you. What's going on?
Yeah, Matt from the press pool. So everybody knows that The Sims has like a ton of DLC and stuff. Is there like a specific expansion or piece of DLC that you've enjoyed the most so far?
I mean, I gotta say the one that I've actually enjoyed the most is the Seasons one because it adds like a bunch of different holidays, but it also adds like snow, like winter to the game, but also spring and summer. And it just it makes the game feel very different day by day because a lot of when you have eternal life, Matt, every day there's no seasons or anything like every day it kind of just feels the same. But when you've got seasons there, when you've got winter rolling on in, you're celebrating New Year's with your friends, and your Sims get suppressed because no one came to their New Year's party because they don't like your Sim, because your Sim is just going around and drinking people's blood at night. It's just one of those
Pretty good
things
reason.
where it just is a standout moment for my life. Like every day feels different with the seasons expansion, if that makes any sense.
Nice.
Yeah. But also vampires are cool too. So I like vampires.
Anyway,
And anyway, sign appears.
Good God, Matt.
We love each other so much.
Anyways, so
Yeah.
it is that time. I'm looking at the clock, Cord. It is that time for you to give your final game, my friend.
Well, as to no surprise.
Wait. Who guessed Quartz?
Hold on. Locklith, but she's not
Oh
here.
no.
Yeah, but
okay.
because
Cord
as soon
will
as
be
she
done it
comes in-
before she comes.
Exactly.
She comes
Right.
in.
Okay, fair.
Yeah, we're
okay.
still good.
Okay,
Yeah.
good call.
We roll on.
Good call.
show must go on.
My apologies. After you.
No. Things were said, and I was making jokes in my head. I'm letting it go.
Let it go.
Let
it go.
All right, I'll get in trouble again. Supposedly I'm yelling, so I'm trying to talk lower. I'm getting text messages, and they're all just all nasty. So obviously, I said it in my review. My game of the year has been God of War Ragnarok. And the reason being is because once again, I had a game where it took me on a journey that I didn't think I was going to have. It was when I played the original God of War 2018, I was like, okay, yeah, I could see it, but I wasn't head over heels like everybody else was for the story itself. I was more loving like the Leviathan acts and the combat and how they changed it so much. This one here, I was just in shock of the emotional journey they took with so many different characters. Not just Atreus, not just Kratos. They did it with just the side characters. They did it with so much. I don't want to give other characters' names away for the people that haven't played it. I'll just say the two characters everybody keeps seeing in the commercial, but they had such different journeys. And even near the end, both Atreus and Kratos did things that I never expected their characters to do. And I was actually in shock. So I commend the writers and I commend everybody who made this game to actually shock me. And I thought the story was going to go in a totally different direction, and it didn't. It's very rare when I play a game and I'm like, oh, you can sort of see the foreshadowing of where it's going to go, and I didn't see this coming. I was greatly impressed. It was a great game. The combat was pretty much the same as 2018. I will say that they did add extra puzzles. They added extra moves. They still did the amnesia thing, but that's what video games do. But I was very impressed with. They took a game and they just super polished it. And that's what I was expecting, and that's what I got. And maybe that's why I didn't win Game of the Year at the Game Awards, because I will say God of War 2018 God of War 2022 it really is just a super polished God of War 2018 with an expansion on the story. It is a continuation. It's not this new adaptation. So it wasn't going to wow us like it did in 2018. But I truly, truly love the story. And that to me, for games, it's all about the story for me, or the enjoyment, but that wowed me.
Nice. Yeah, I mean, we all kind of felt that you probably felt that way ever since, we put the review together, and like ever since, when I heard you so passionately talk about it, and then all this content you wanted to do around God of War, I was like, yep, this is definitely like the Quartz, like number one, like hit it out of the
very
park
good
kind of thing. So yeah, I'm
And
so glad
I have to say, one of my favorite parts of the year was just messaging you back and forth, being like, "Did you see this? Did you see that? Can you believe that just happened?" I will say that I think you're spot on. Like this to me, and I said it in our review, and I'll say it again. Like Ragnarok feels like the end game to God of War 2018's, Infinity War. Like it really just feel like the next step forward while continuing what they started in 2018. They took everything. They improved upon it. They played with your expectations in a way that was genuinely surprising all the way through. Every time I'm like, this is what's going to happen, they're like, no. And it's just like, again, like for a AAA first party Sony game to come along and to just defy a lot of what we thought was going to happen while also just building upon everything that they did before, there's a reason why it's your game of the year.
Yeah, man. Nice.
Well, it's pretty good.
I'm just a simp. I'm just a caveman.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Sounds pretty good. But
Court
anyways,
like fire.
Yeah, I do.
Court, I know you got to get going because I'm looking at the time. I know you got
I
to
appreciate that.
peace out. But thank you so much once again for joining us for this discussion, Court. And I hope you have a good rest of your evening. And of course, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Court Lone on Twitter, and you can find me at Carpool Gaming. I this question, I don't know what it is. It's like a question that drives me crazy. You know what? You can find me. Just find me anywhere.
Just type in Court Lalonde's name into Google and you'll find him. That's what's fun.
I don't know.
Love you, Court.
Whatever.
His address is in the show notes, everybody.
I was gonna say, yeah, please.
I think it's like Sean has this like capri, like the pants thing, and it's such a good line. And then when it's like, where can you find me? I'm like, I don't know, man.
Court, like the
there.
judicial system. Duh.
Yeah. You can also find him cranking out YouTube shorts over on youtube.com/carpool gaming as well. So there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wear shorts.
Sure.
Good night, Court. Go to
Yeah,
bed.
go to sleep.
Do we
Court.
need a hold on? Do we need a sister podcast to the Pants podcast where it's the Shorts podcast?
The jorts.
Yes.
Yeah.
The George podcast.
Yeah.
George.
The George starring Court
podcast.
Lalonde.
Of a various, articles of clothing podcasts.
Yeah. My God. Well, now that Court's gone, now we can say all the bad things we don't like about Court. Clearly that
mean.
he's gone. I know. We wouldn't do that. That's something we wouldn't do. In fact, something else that's mean that we wouldn't do as well is we're going to hear from the community as well. Talk more about these games. Because
Master segue.
Look, okay, I needed to come up with a segue, and that was the best I came up with. The truth is, I want to kill time because I'm sure Lachlan will be joining us in about 5 minutes. So we got Blaze Knight, aka Mike, at
Blaze Knight.
At Blaze Knight 0923 over on Twitter. He hangs out in the Backlog Busters Discord as Blaze Knight as well. And his personal top 3 games of the year are as follows. He went in depth with some of these, which I really appreciate, by the way. So his third favorite game that he played this year was As Dusk Falls. This interactive story manages to stay compelling while keeping your choices impactful throughout the story. Multiple people know I played this title, and we all had different experiences and overall feelings about the story and characters as a result. And then his second favorite game of the year was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge.
Yeah.
I had a distinct privilege of playing through this excellent game with both my daughter, a friend, and his son for some awesome 5-player online couch co-op action. This game hit nostalgia just right, and this game's pixel-perfect art style is an inspiration to be sure. And then his final favorite game of the year was A Plague Tale Requiem. He says that this game takes everything great from the first game and improves it tenfold. Perfect stealth, leveling system that caters to your playstyle, and a captivating story that keeps this game top of the charts, bar none. So there you go. Those are some interesting choices as well. I know, I don't know if we're going to talk about As Dusk Falls at some point during the show, but I remember our discussion about As Dusk Falls might have been one of my favorite review discussions this year, because we got to talk to Blaze Knight's point about all the stuff that was totally different with when we were playing it, which was just super fun to talk about. So I did really enjoy that discussion a lot, and I think that that's a good choice in there. And then Plague Tale, I don't know if we're going to talk about that one either, but I know Kevin Ainsworth will be proud that at least someone brought up Plague Tale Requiem, since I know that was his favorite game of this year. But
Get a job, Kevin.
I'm gonna jump in on this
Good
As
job,
Dusk Falls
Kevin.
things. Can we talk about As Dusk Falls for a
sure,
second?
we can talk about it.
Because you're right, Ryan. The kind of the joy of that game is in the discussions. It's one of those that wherever you are in it, you've got to be messaging a friend who's like, what did you do here? What happened? I don't know that there's really anything groundbreaking really about it, but except for the fact of all the different branching paths. I was really surprised at all the actually different outcomes that can happen. And I think we tricked our own minds in our own spoiler cast conversation, where I thought that we generally had covered it, and we totally didn't, man. I listened to a couple others, shout out to the Good Morning guys, and I want to say Save the Game Media maybe. There's a bunch out there, and if you have played this game, seek out those spoiler casts. I feel more so than most games that came out this year, that was one that you'll want to check out. If you think somebody is guaranteed to survive the entire journey, even if you think they're central to the story, I would say it's highly possible that they don't. And I was shocked to see that in some of those conversations. So it was very cool, man.
Yeah.
Shout out to Blaze Knight for that call out, man. Yeah, that's a great, nice one. Because I don't think it's not a God of War. It's not an Elden Ring. It's not any of these games. And so it's great to have this represented in our celebration of video games.
It was also just like so different from a lot of other stuff we played this year too, which was also one of the things I really appreciated about it. And spoiler alert, that's not the last time we're going to be talking about it, because actually we have more community members that mentioned it.
Oh, spoilers.
We'll talk about that. But, as soon as Lachlan turns her camera on, Lachlan is joining us as well. Hello, Lachlan. How are you doing this evening?
Well, hello.
Hi.
Hello. Thank you so much for joining us on this very wacky Game of the Year show. By the way, we set the tone earlier for how wacky the show is. It's kind of off the rails. It's kind of a thing. We're not even through people's third picks at this point for your update as to where we are at this point. But Matt, of course, wants to get you involved in his game. So Matt, take it away.
Hey, Lachlan. We're playing a game that we came up with a little while ago. Basically, it's a game. We're all guessing each other's games of the year, and you have been assigned Court. What do you think Court's game of the year is?
Now, just so you know, Court, who just left, did say his game of the year already, so the audience knows as well what it is. So that makes this even more fun.
Yeah.
It's super fun.
So what do you think Court's game of the year is, Lachlan?
I'm going to say God of War.
Okay.
Ragnarok.
Okay. So just to give you some context, Seth guessed yours, okay? And we're not revealing the answers until the end, but he said yours was Disney Dreamlight Valley, which we'll see if it's true as the car rolls on through the drive-through,
That's right.
Whoa. Yeah, you got it.
Nailed it.
Got the pun in there too.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm so proud of you,
chef's
Matt.
kiss.
Thank you, Ryan.
Good God. Okay. Get the show back on the road anyways. Since Lachlan just got here, I don't want to surprise her just yet by forcing her to say her game. Sean, it's finally time for you to talk about your third favorite game. And you're not blowing me off this time. You're actually going to talk about it this time. I'm calling on you. What's your third favorite game this year?
One of my second favorite games that I played this year that didn't come out this year was Rise of the Tomb Raider. Ryan, this game that was such a storied entry in the Tomb Raider franchise, an exclusive on Xbox One, as everybody recalls, a timed exclusive indeed. I went through that Soviet faction place and I found all the things and I discovered there's the great DLC with this thing. And my goodness gracious, you guys, Rise of the Tomb Raider was really good. Ryan, how much is this upsetting you on a scale of 1 to 10 that I'm being a little
72.
72. Okay.
72.
My number 3 actual factuals game of 2022. This might surprise you how low on this list it is Vampire Survivors. One of just it's an absolutely glorious sample of pure video game goodness. I'm genuinely concerned that it's impacting my health and my overall just hormone system. I don't think my dopamine should be flowing like this. Is that a hormone? What is that? What is dopamine? I'm not sure.
It's just a chemical in your body, Sean.
It's a brain thing. I'm not really sure, but man, it's altering my natural state. That's how good this game is. It's just pure, unadulterated video game design. And I'm head over heels. But Vampire Survivors is actually hilarious too. You just talk to people about it, and it's over the top. It knows exactly what it's doing. But even at its heart, you are. I guess it's kind of like a roguelike. You die. You're definitely going to be dying at the end of this. And then you upgrade your character a little bit, and I'm hooked in that loop, man. I had something weird happen one of the last times I played it. I've got, I think, a 500 plus gamer score on this thing. So weird stuff is happening. I thought I knew what this game had in store, but I had glowy lights. I was transported to another land and weird stuff, man. So Vampire Survivors, number 3 for my Game of the Year 2022 list, my friend.
Nice. Now, quick question for you. I saw that DLC just came out for it. Are you going to play the DLC?
I'm all over this game. This is one that I'm checking the achievement list. If I can get 1,000 gamer score, I don't know if it's totally possible. I don't know. We'll see. But DLC, yeah, of course. I feel like I jumped into this game at just the right time. Now, the only problem is I feel like Fire Emblem comes out in like 2 days or something crazy like that. And I should say there's a couple games that I haven't played enough of. One of them is God of War Ragnarok. I've started it. I'm maybe 10 hours, not even, maybe 5 or 6 hours into this thing. I see where it's going. I see what it has to offer, but it's not even part of my consideration because I just wasn't able to cram it in there. So,
my God.
yeah.
But at least the cramming session definitely paid off, because it's just one of those things where if you didn't do your Game of the Year cramming session, like Vampire Survivors would have never made it at this point.
Oh, you don't even know how much this cramming session has paid off, Ryan Turford. This is just the tip of the old iceberg up in here in Canada and our oceans and icebergs.
And the cramming session just continues on. Yeah. It's so when you play it on Xbox, because I've downloaded it on my phone. I've heard the hype. When it came out on the Game Awards, I was like, okay, let me download this thing. Does it auto attack for you?
Yep.
Okay, so that's
you're just moving.
That's the game.
You are just moving.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And dodging and dipping and diving and dodging.
Diablo
and
2
ducking.
hammered in build the game.
Yep.
That was for you, Ryan Turford.
Very good. I'm very glad you could.
Very good.
Very
Very
good. Very good.
An hour in and Ryan's
Yes.
like, oh my God.
Quite.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
It's all fine.
My brain doesn't hurt at all. But I'm actually, again.
Anyway.
Look, I didn't even say it this time, and Matt's got the sign ready to go. By the way, Matt made it an anyway sign for those who are listening at home as well.
People need to watch the YouTube video. I'm telling you, we're having a
Must.
blast.
Oh,
up in
trust
here.
me, the YouTube video, if you aren't watching it, is actually going to be really great, because future Ryan is putting a whole bunch of spiffy stuff into this video. It's probably going to be like our most well-produced video of the entire year. So there's
There
going to
it
be
is,
fancy
as it
stuff
should
you're
be.
seeing as it goes.
Very
perfect.
nice. Can't wait.
Yeah.
Sync clap.
I hate you so
Sync
much.
clap.
Anyways, there, just for you, Matt, just for you. Luckily, now that you've had time to settle in a little bit, I want to hear from you now. What is your third favorite game that you played this year?
So we're saying third as in like out of 3, this is the lowest of the.
That is what you would consider the lowest. Again, this is all about you. Or if you don't want to put them in your own order, you can just whatever game you feel like talking about. That works too.
So I'm going to say, and I'm not also not going to mention that I really just put thought into this today for this.
We all did.
I
Yeah, like
prepared.
7
Yeah,
minutes
we all
before.
did. Yeah.
I prepared ahead of time. So I would say my third would be Pokemon Violet.
Yeah.
There it is.
Let's
There it is.
go.
She made up her mind about it the second before she said the words.
Yeah.
Like that could have been another game. I feel like I just saw the Excel spreadsheet
gears
swap it
turning.
out.
Yeah.
I don't have pictures of games over here on my screen over here, nor do I have my Switch right here to remind myself of what I played
Yes.
today.
Played today. Are all 3 just
Played
These are the
today.
top 3 games I played today.
Today in the year 2022. It counts.
Today, December
games
15th.
in order.
Yeah. Today, December 15th, 2022, which of course is not the day people are listening to this, by the way. They're listening to this on Boxing Day as well. Just throw it out there.
Ooh.
But anyways, continue.
Muhammad
Lachlan. Why Pokemon Violet? Because I know you and Seth Seth and Matt also just did a giant episode of the RPG Cave about it. But we want to hear from you. Why Pokemon Violet? Why is it awesome?
Well, I mean, I just like that, even though it was broken, clearly.
And it was broken.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not, you're going to hear another one on my list is very similar to this.
Pokemon
It's not the
Scarlet,
best.
number 2.
Number 1, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet double pack.
And then Arceus. Let's just name all 3 at once. But however, forgetting about that piece of it, the story and just being able to go everywhere, not really being like defined by what you have to do. Like I haven't even finished the game yet, and I'm already it just sucked me in. And I think that was my number 1 thing that I was looking into when it came to, my games of the year, was what sucked me in for a pretty decent amount of time. And that was
Kirby.
one. No. Like I played more of this than I did of Kirby. Forgotten
Wow.
Land. Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of
So,
crazy to think about.
I don't know.
Yeah. No, I'm glad first of all someone brought Pokemon because I don't know if anyone else is gonna bring up Pokemon tonight. But that's one that like even though it's broken, just like you said, it's very, very fun. It's honestly one of the best RPGs I played this year, despite the fact that the game is incredibly broken and I'm part of the problem for going out and spending money on it. Just to Sean.
Glad I
Connor's
didn't
point.
have to say it.
Yeah. You know, it had to be said. It had to be said, of course. But
are
they
you
can't
gonna
keep
do?
getting away with this. But at the same time, they make it a pretty gosh darn good game here with Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. But
Well, that's the frustrating thing is even though it is broken, there's a great game in there, and it's just like I don't know. I found myself forgetting about a lot of the surrounding issues the more I dug into it. Does that make it okay? Of course not. But the game still is fun.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's my game of the year. Like regardless of the issues, I forgot about them. Like you said, pretty quickly. I was too busy trying to catch all the Pokemon, trying to do all the different side things, and like I said, it just sucked me in. And I am gonna beat the game too. So if that says anything as well, like I haven't given it up like Sword and Shield. I gave that up pretty quickly. It just felt like another, like every other Pokemon game except for the story being different. But this is quite different from those to me. So
Nice. Well, along the same lines as you, Lockliff, I'm actually going to bring in a member of the community whose favorite game was also this game, same game as well. We're going to bring in Chibi from the Discord, who actually points out that her name
Can I guess game of the year? Can I guess Chibi's game of the year?
Sure, you can.
It's definitely Splatoon 3.
Gotta be Splatoon 3.
How did you
Gotta be
know?
Splatoon.
Yeah.
How did you know?
Nailed it.
I
Nailed
didn't
it.
have to say it. So, of course, Chibi also wanted us to shout out that she's on Twitter as Destruct Alice on Twitter as well. So go follow her there as well. But yes, number one, Splatoon 3, great sequel for a Nintendo shooter and an extremely fun game to play competitively. And then number two is Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Amazing storyline, excluding the bugs and glitches. One of the better gems to come out from Game Freak. And by the way, if you're watching the video version of the show, you're actually watching a clip right now of Chibi playing the game. Because Chibi actually
That's
submitted
cool.
a clip of
is
her
cool.
playing the game.
Nice.
And then last one on Chibi's list is Paper Mario the Origami King.
Nice.
She didn't say, but
Good
she
game.
said she really enjoyed Paper Mario and the Origami King as well. So
Underrated.
had
great
to
game.
get, had to get Chibi in there with the shout out. And of course, more love for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet as well. Well, now that everyone's given their third game, I haven't done mine yet. So it's finally time for Ryan Turford to get in here and talk about his favorite games of the year. Now, this kind of like what Sean was saying, actually, this year was actually like super hard for me. Not because I didn't play enough games, because as Sean knows, I've almost played too many games this year. I was up there with Kevin Ainsworth. I've finished like 80 games this year. So I've played.
Yeah, and you have a job. That's very impressive.
And I have a job too on top of that. So yeah, like I did play a ton of games this year, but there wasn't like one or two or even five games that like stood out as like, all right, here's like my favoriteest games this year. So it was like really hard to nail down like which three games I would actually end up picking for my favorite games, because I had like a top 30 prepared. Yes, a top 30 games of this year that I prepared just of this year and not other years that I could have talked about. But these were the three I kind of settled on after doing some thinking as well. And I mean, I didn't come up with these tonight as well. I came up with these a while ago because, I've had lots of time to think about this for other things, outside of this with, voting for Game Awards and stuff like that. So my third favorite game this year might actually surprise people because it's not a genre that I typically like at all. But this game really wowed me in a way that I wasn't expecting all the way back in January, and that's Elden Ring. Elden Ring is my third favorite game of this year.
Wow.
I love Elden Ring. I love going around and playing this game, and I loved like the open world Souls-like formula they had going on here, where it was almost felt like Breath of the Wild mixed with, Bloodborne or Dark Souls. And I just really love that about this game. I love being able to approach any of the situations however you want it, except for the bosses, of course, which are, typical, Dark Souls type of boss, rooms and stuff like that you're in. But I love being able to just go in the open field. And if I see like a powerful enemy, sneaking up on them and taking them out rather than, fighting them in confined spaces like you normally would in a Souls-like game. Like I loved the freedom that you had as a player in Elden Ring, but also just the artistic design was just beautiful. Like I love the use of the specific colors that they use for some of the backgrounds, like just seeing that big kind of golden tree in the background and just the way the sky looked and stuff like that. Like it made it like really interesting to explore that environment. And it really had its hook to me for a long time. And even though I fell off towards the end of the game, like even, 30 hours in, which again, sounds like a lot for a lot of normal games, but for Elden Ring, it's only kind of like the tip of the iceberg in a lot of ways. But I just enjoyed every moment I played of Elden Ring and just really enjoyed going into it. If it wasn't for its open world design being too loose, it honestly probably would have hooked me until the end. But I just really enjoyed, the difficulty gameplay. I enjoyed the open world design and the enemy design and just everything about Elden Ring. I just really, really enjoyed it. It's a game too that I think about all the time, wanting to go back and maybe giving a second shot to.
You should.
Going back and finishing it, or maybe just going and playing it on stream one day and just having fun with it. Like, I really kind of want to go back to this game and give it a second chance because I have a lot of great memories playing Elden Ring this year. So I had to give it a shout out as my third favorite game of the year. And it's also the only game in this list that I haven't finished. So I had to give it that shout out as well. But there you go. Elden Ring, it's a game that exists. I was waiting for Sean to pipe in because he's also recently been playing Elden Ring as well. And
It's a game that exists.
It's a game that exists.
look,
Yeah,
that's a
that
Ryan Turford response. Okay, what do you expect from me? Good.
Yeah, no, man. This game is very special, and it's been talked about, to death and it's really emblematic of like one of the games of the year for sure because it's just it went beyond what people typically will play, what people typically talk about. Like, grandmas were buying this game for some reason. This was as popular as Wii Sports, I think, is technically what ended up happening here.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing. Elden Ring is dude. It is part of my game of the year cramming session. I don't want to show my cards too much, but man, this game it's as good. Like I had my doubts, this game is as good as people say it is. And that's lofty. People, hold this up as some of the best games, not just this year, but like any year. And that's a lot. And it's hard to go into a game after an entire year. People saying Elden Ring is still Elden Wing is what people are saying. And then it's like it totally lives up to what everybody said. So I'm with you, Ryan. This game is very good.
Nice.
I'm going to hop on this for a sec too, because like Ryan, I know we spent like the first couple months of the year with the PlayStation Drive this year talking a lot about Elden Ring. And similarly to you, like I'm not one that is crazy about FromSoft as a whole. Like I've tried Bloodborne, I've tried Sekiro. Elden Ring, I put a huge dent into. Similarly to you, I think I put like 30 to 40 hours in. And I actually got like towards the end of the game and then fell off just because something else came out around that time. But like the open world, the way that you can mess with your character, the way that magic is a very, very viable way to enjoy that game, even if you're bad at it. It really kind of struck a chord for me. And similarly to you, it's one that's like kind of sat in the back of my mind all year, kind of thinking like, maybe I do want to go back to it. I was so close to the end. Maybe I do want to hop in and kind of clean it up. The thing that's just stopping me right now is just like, I know there's going to be a learning curve to relearn how to play that game properly, but it's one that I keep thinking about. So I don't know, I might hop back in as well because that game is something that's really, really special, even for someone who isn't a huge FromSoft fan.
Nice. Well, I'm glad we at least got to talk about it at least a little bit on the podcast as well. Because again, I don't know how many other people had Elden Ring on their list, but I guess we'll talk about that more later. Because Seth,
It's Lockless number one.
It's true.
Oh yeah.
Clearly, it's
Definitely.
Lockless number one.
Count on it.
Just from watching Sean play it, that's gotta be it. Yeah.
Hashtag influencer.
I thought Lockless number one game was the Forspoken demo, but I guess not. Anyways,
Well, guess we'll have to find out.
I guess we'll find out. Moving on, Seth. I want to hear from you now. We're gonna do it. Now it's time to talk about our number twos. So hit me with your number two game of the year.
To talk about number twos. My number two, this is actually where I put Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Oh,
Okay.
Yeah. I think it's a great game. I think actually could have been number one. I felt like it kind of lost me at the end a little bit. But other than that, like the other 100 hours I spent with that game were amazing. And I think that it does some really innovative and smart changes, especially from Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I'm sorry to, Quagmire and the other Xenoblade 2
Quagmire's
fans
coming
out
after
there.
you, dude.
Yeah.
I know. It's a great game, but it's just not like after playing Xenoblade 3, I was like, wow, like I'm so happy they removed like the gotcha mechanics, the weird like overworld stuff where you have to have like this blade to this level to burn a tree, and they removed all that junk, and I'm so glad they did. It just makes the entire thing so much more palatable. I think the combat's fantastic. The characters, the story, the game made me cry like 3 times. Like anybody who has played Xenoblade Chronicles 3 all the way through, like there are 2 moments in this game, 2 very specific moments where I'm like, these were some of my favorite moments that I've ever encountered in my life playing video games. Like I don't want to spoil anything, obviously, but there are just some like amazing, incredible all-time JRPG moments in here. I think it's the best soundtrack of the year by far. Yasunori Mitsuda, my favorite composer of all time, and I think this is his masterwork. Like the quality of music, the consistency, the amount of work on display here, it is just like a tour de force the entire way through. Phenomenal game. And yeah, it's like on my short list of favorite JRPGs just ever. Like it's that good.
Now, I didn't complete this game, as the community continues to remind me, and I apologize. I am bad at that specifically. But the thing that really captured me about this game is actually quite similar to the first Xenoblade, which is the premise. Like, I think that there can be a lot to be talked about, like how emotional it is, and it actually holds up quite well on the Switch, performs pretty well. It seems to be Xenoblade can do it. Why can't Pokemon do it? Why can't these other games kind of like actually perform well? There's lots to be said about all that, but dude, like the premise, the setting, the reason these characters exist in these worlds, and there's a certain sort of like rule set, and there's this overarching, there's history there. That's what happens when you walk into a Xenoblade Chronicles game. If anybody hasn't played one before, it's like you're there for this really unique setting, and you feel these characters have been living in there for a long time. Now, the one thing that I can't speak to is like how much that impacts later on in the story, because like, I don't know, man, like I don't know if you end up in space for some strange reason or some strange dimension. Like weirder things have happened, I think, in JRPGs. Yeah. But at least when you start things out and you just have like these 2 kind of sides who hate each other and are battling endlessly, and there's like a time clock. I just think that the imagination that went into setting the rules around this world is definitely notable. And that's why I think it should be talked about in a Game of the Year conversation. It's something that gets lost often. We look for kind of like the impact, but this is why like games like Dragon Age or Skyrim or basically anything from BioWare, it's like there's a whole novel set of stuff that exists before the game was actually produced, but it's not required reading. You can still go in and play these games and enjoy them. So I just wanted to throw a little extra love over to Xenoblade. An honorable mention, unranked honorable mention for me, only because I just didn't really get enough time into it. I think I'm still about a fifth of the way through the tutorials, somewhere around like 30 hours into this thing. So still a ways to go on it.
So Seth, I'm curious because like I tried to get into Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I probably spent like 20 or 30 hours with it before I fell off, just because the combat didn't really gel with me. Should I give Xenoblade Chronicles 3 a shot?
Yeah, I think so. I think, I mean, like, ultimately the combat of the Xenoblade Chronicles games remind me a lot of like MMO combat. You're still like waiting your turn and stuff, but the way that they have like, the way that they have restructured it and made it based on like a class system, and the way that it is modular, the way that any character can be any class, and they incentivize you to experiment with the makeup of your party the entire time, the way that, unlike a lot of JRPGs, you really come to know your party. Like you get your entire party, the people that are going to be with you the whole game, you meet them within like hour 1, and it's not like a Chrono Trigger, like, oh, I don't meet Magus until like the end of the game or whatever. It's like, it's an actual, you get your full party right there from the outset, and you really get to, everybody kind of gets their time to shine. Like Noah's kind of the main character, but actually all of them are the main character. And I really love that about the game. I think the combat is phenomenal, and I'd be very interested to hear your thoughts on it. It's my favorite combat of the 3. I think Xenoblade 2 like had a little bit of like it went a little too far. I think it's really satisfying. Like Xenoblade 2, once you understand the combat system, it gets ridiculous. Just like these infinity numbers, and like you're doing the chains and the bursts and things like that. But Xenoblade 3, I think, is just the most approachable one in the series in terms of that. And yeah, I mean, like Sean was kind of saying, like it's a war story, dude. Like this is a story about war, you know, and like the places it goes. I mean, like it's really incredible. Like what an accomplishment this game is. I still, you know, there are just like moments in this game that I'm gonna remember for a long, long time.
Nice, cool. Man. So before we move on, we got two things I want to throw in here. Number one, y'all mentioned Quagmire, so I want to throw in Quagmire submitted their responses. A Quagmire at Quagmire numbered 7341 on the Discord. Yes, they wanted the Discord shout out, so there it is.
Nice.
Nice. Quagmire's 3 favorite games of the year are Kirby and the Forgotten Land, and then Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Again, that one we've been hearing a lot from people too.
Yeah.
And then Xenoblade Chronicles 3, number 1. Sounds like y'all were not very surprised by that though. You knew it was coming.
The man likes Xenoblade, dude. Very cool.
He does like it a lot, so had to give him a shout.
Maybe an RPG cave with Quagmire on that there Xenoblade.
Maybe he can sit down and talk about
Xenoblade.
That there Xenoblade.
You know, fun fact, Sean. Someone actually went back to our Xenoblade episode that we recorded about a year and a half ago on the RPG Cave last week, and they commented asking where our Xenoblade Chronicle 3 review was. So
yeah,
it's one of those things where maybe Quagmire and Garrett Bland go on there and talk about that at this point. Who knows?
So you're saying I have a chance to maybe play it still and catch up.
There's still a chance.
There's still a chance.
All right, cram session.
Cram continues.
Here we go.
Chelsea, take care of the kids for the next month. I'm playing video games.
My God.
And
There you go.
She's not home. Nobody's home. The kids are like,
there's no way. There's no way you would actually shout that if she was home.
That's not true. Sean's done that before when she's been home. So, but Lockleth, you know, Matt's not the only one who wanted to ask some questions or play games tonight. So let's go on to you. I hear you have some questions for us. Let's hear them.
I do. I have a few side questions.
Yeah.
So welcome to Lockleth's auditory categories.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes, that's awesome.
That's incredible.
Well done.
Snaps.
I know. I came up with it all by myself. Look at me and my pigeon brain doing things.
Yeah.
So my question to y'all is basically a console services game of the year. So Game Pass, PS Plus. What off of those services, we could just name one, and I could start with you, Matt, if you have one off the top of your head. I'm just putting you on the spot. But what would be the game that kind of stood out to you out of those services? And maybe I don't have to put you on the spot, Matt. Your eyes got very big when I said that.
I have one if Matt doesn't.
Okay. I'm going to save one, but I'm going to shout out Pentiment. It's one of my honorable mentions. I really, really liked Pentiment. It was a very weird game, a very strange game, one that was basically just like reading a novel. But there was something about it that really clicked and grabbed me. It's one of the most unique games I've definitely played this year. And it's just a good time. It's strange. It's weird. It's a fun little adventure, and I had a lot of fun with it.
Nice.
What about you, Ryan?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Lockleth, because I don't know if you've heard of this game. There's a little game where you play as a little dude, and he's fighting bats and other monsters and cookie monsters and stuff. And Alf shows up. It's Vampire Survivors. What do you need from me? What do you need to know? What do you need besides Vampire Survivors at this point? Just play Vampire Survivors. It's on Game Pass. That's what you need. The Game Pass game of the year, Vampire Survivors. Even though I can't award that title because Donnie Reese is not here to award the Game Pass game of the year. Sean and I need to figure that out at some point. Donnie Reese giving out Game Pass game of the year. But come on, please, this is Vampire Survivors. There you go.
I love how most of us knew what it was before Sean. Till you said it, he was like, "Oh yeah, that game."
Honestly, I was like, Cult of the Lamb didn't come out on Game Pass. I was so confused.
Well, of course, I've got Seth's amazing short that he made for Vampire Survivors in the back of my brain. So of course I had to think about all that. But there you go. Vampire Survivors is mine.
Seth or Sean, y'all have yours?
I mean,
Picking
I'm
just
gonna
one.
I was gonna say,
Yeah,
I
just pick one. It's nothing
it's
serious.
kinda-
Oh, it's
funny 'cause
serious.
I don't have an Xbox, so like I don't really play many Game Pass
That is
games.
true.
What about a
And-
Nintendo Switch Online?
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
we
there's
can
there's
include that.
NSO, but then that's also weird because that's just like Nintendo 64 and stuff.
That still counts.
but-
That's still
There
part
you
of the
go.
question.
It counts. It counts. I'm actually going to shout out because this is a game that I believe is currently available for PlayStation Plus. Mass Effect Legendary Collection, man.
Yeah, man.
Like those are incredible games. Maybe my favorite trilogy period in video games. Like those games are amazing. If you have PlayStation Plus, you must play them. Like it is required. So, go with that.
Sean?
I was tempted to go with the Game Pass game, but now that Seth has totally thrown a bunch of shade over to the N64 games that are coming out, I want to
No, they're
highlight
great.
a
They're
little
great.
something. Oh no, you had your chance. People heard what you said. It's on the internet now. Wave Race 64 is an excellent
Yeah.
game, and it just came out on Nintendo Switch Online. We never thought it was possible. Ryan Turford said it would never happen because of the whole Kawasaki business or whatever.
Yeah.
Now he says that I thought he was going to say, no, that's not what I said, but you did. You said it.
I owned up to it. I said that. I said what I said.
Yep. Good on you, man. Shredder's Revenge also came out on Game Pass, so that's actually
True.
it's pretty decent as well, man. Like Game Pass it's actually a really hard category, and I don't care if I'm naming more than one game.
I was about to say you're just gonna.
I'm just gonna keep
That is
going.
kind
I
of
felt
what
like I had
Sean
one
does.
more. Yeah, pretty much. No, I think that was probably it. Oh, Metal Hellslinger, that was the one. And Singer, I've been saying Slinger this whole time. It's Metal Hellsinger. It's not Slinger at all.
Sling that metal.
Sling
No, he's
the
singing
metal.
it.
Sling it.
Yep. That one was for Lachlan.
I was going to say, now that
Yes.
we've answered your question, Lachlan, you got to answer it as well. What's yours?
Mine would be Stray because I played it on PS Plus.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, and that's why I forgot about, Seth, you don't really play anything outside of Nintendo for the most part, but I'm surprised you didn't think of Stray, but I don't know if you ever got into it. But that was my pick. I got pretty far in there. I still need to finish. My cram session didn't go as well as Sean's, so but I definitely want to shout that one out because I just loved it. It was so much fun to play, even though it was difficult. Oh yeah, Seth, I remember now. I remember.
Oh
now.
yeah, I can't play it. No.
Yeah, I forgot. You can't play
sorry.
that game. It's too much. It hurts you in the feels
Nope.
too much.
Can't do it.
But that would be my pick. But I also have dogs, so that's
Cats
the
in
reason.
peril. Can't do it. Nope.
Cats in peril. No.
Oh my God, we are being invaded by a saucy potato. That is right, Console Kato, the sauciest potato, has officially joined us as well. She hasn't exactly turned her camera on or a mic on, but
I
want
don't
to
know
be
how. I
acknowledged.
don't know how. I'm trying.
Yeah. Where's the button? Where's the button? I need to find the button. Oh my God. Well,
Okay.
well.
Okay.
Oh, there
We're
we
here.
go.
There she is.
He has such a
We're here.
Christmassy background. It's nice.
I know, isn't it?
Oh my
Is
God.
that a
Isn't she
Nutcracker squish fella or
lovely?
something?
It's the
Yes.
ugliest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, but it seemed like a forced perspective kind of thing. I thought that
Right,
was like
me
a
too.
large thing further away.
Yes.
and
I
then
thought
she
so
just
too.
said,
I thought so too.
That was amazing. Yeah, no, that's not what I thought was
I thought
happening.
that was like
meant to-
3
it's like
feet
a
tall in the
desk.
background. Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
I thought it was
Okay.
the floor. Oh my
yes,
God.
I thought it was the floor, and I thought she just Mr. Fantastic her arm like all the way back. Oh my God.
Oh my God, that just broke me. Oh
Yeah.
wow.
Kiss my desk.
I was gonna say in the tiny OBS box, it looks very, very like far away. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I
Well,
can see that.
thank you so much for joining us, Kato. And
Hey.
Lachlan was currently, asking us very silly, just random questions. So that's kind of what we were doing.
Okay.
Before you
That's
joined.
where we are. Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
But
Good.
before we go back to
Ready?
those, Matt, I believe
Question.
you have a question
I want
for
to see what
Kato.
she's gonna say. No, wait. Ask Lachlan. That's what was your category thing called? And will you put us all on the spot? You're gonna put Kato on the spot here as well.
Okay. Well, welcome, Kato, to Locklist Auditory Categories. And
Oh my
my
God.
question was, out of like console services, so like Game Pass, PS Plus, and I guess we're gonna include Nintendo Switch Online.
Mhm.
What would be your game of the year out of those like services?
Oh, out of those services. Okay. This is going to be hard because,
You can pick one out of any of those.
It could be
Just-
Nintendo if you want.
Yeah.
oh, we're just going to
Like
poo
N64.
on Kato like she hasn't played anything.
I'm
this
just hoping
year.
that you pick what I think you're gonna pick. That's all. Just trying to steer you in the right direction.
The go-to would be Wave Race.
My
right?
man,
There
yes.
it is.
Oh no.
There it is.
However, I played that one time. So I'm trying to
I'm
be
satisfied. That's fine.
I'm
Whatever you have
trying to
say
be
from here.
more realistic here with my stuff. And I'm pretty sure, I don't want to say this and it not be applicable, but I'm pretty sure Lake was available
Yeah.
on Xbox Game Pass.
This
And
one's
I played that on my Steam Deck a lot more than I played Wave Race. So I would have to go with Lake.
I'm just
That's
glad
my
you said
favorite.
Wave Race. That's fine.
Yeah,
I
Wave
was gonna
Race.
say,
Good.
I feel like you
That's good.
almost broke Sean Capri's poor heart there by not agreeing with Wave
Yeah.
Race a little bit.
Is that what you said for yours?
Yeah.
Really?
I mean, I don't know if I'm serious about it, but
Yeah.
I said it.
I mean, the fact that you said that over Vampire Survivors, Sean, just shocks me. I thought we were buddies. I
felt
thought
like-
we were both going to be agreeing on that. But
I just felt like it was already kind of mentioned, and Kato and I were very excited about the prospect of Wave Race potentially coming to the Nintendo Switch Online. And again, with Ryan saying it wasn't possible, we're just like, no, you got to believe. And we can take full credit on the Nintendo
Yeah.
Drive. Like, we made it happen.
We
So
did that.
We did it. Nobody but us. Yep.
nobody.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
So now that you've answered the question, Matt, you have a question for Kato too, right?
I do.
Oh,
Hey, Kato.
gosh. Hey.
We started playing a game where we're guessing each other's game of the year, and you got assigned Ryan. So, what do you think Ryan's game of the year is going to be?
Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Right? Oh yeah.
It's fine. You got assigned the
okay.
easy person, Kato. It's okay.
Okay. Think back.
You can do
The
it.
problem is I literally can't even say half of the games that Ryan plays.
There's only 80 to choose from, Kato. I only finished 80
I
games this
know.
year.
Only 80.
He has a top 30 list.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, I have a top 30
Exactly.
list.
The nice thing about JRPGs is you can just take different words and throw them together and then add a number at the end, and you might be right.
It's
Okay.
true.
Wasn't there was there a Final Fantasy game that came out?
There was a
year?
Final Fantasy
Oh, I
game
wonder
that
if you
came
would
out.
count
It
that.
just came out 2 days ago, though.
This sucks.
The new
okay.
one.
Which doesn't mean Ryan
The new
didn't finish it.
Right.
Spoiler alert, Matt, I didn't finish it.
I honestly don't. Can I phone a friend? I don't know.
You can phone a friend.
That'd be fun.
As long as you actually call somebody who's like not related to this group of six at all, and just be like, "What's Ryan's game of the year?" Add
Yeah.
text entirely.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Can I have like 2 minutes to think about it?
Think about it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm gonna
While you
for
think
2 minutes.
about it,
I'm gonna do some research here.
while you think about it, I'm going to bring in a member of the community to then talk about their favorite games of the year. So we're going to go to Bob Blah Blah at Bob Blah Blah 574, who says their
Blah Blahs.
favorite 3 games of the year are Kirby and the Forgotten Land. I had 0 expectations and ended up loving the game. Splatoon
Nice.
3, its campaign is incredible. And then their favorite game of the year, which really surprised me, 2 Point Campus is a ton of fun. I realized I didn't play many games this year. What the heck? Bob Blah Blah really enjoyed 2 Point Campus, which is also a fun game too. I also enjoyed.
That's a great
Play the
game.
game.
Nice
Yeah, no,
pick.
that's-
I love that.
That's also a really good Game Pass game as well. In case you need a good Game Pass game. Going back to our previous
Dude, I want to get that DLC. You go to space? What, don't you put like a campus on the moon or
They
something?
do put a campus on the moon, and it's one of the highest rated things to come out all year, Sean. Is that dang 2 Point Campus expansion, and also giving Kato some more time to think. I'm also going to bring in Scott Wilkerson, who gave his favorite 3 games, and I think actually Seth likes 2 of 3 of these. Actually, Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was his third game. Second game, Pentiment, which Matt just mentioned.
Let's go.
And then his
Nice.
favorite game of the year, Neon White.
Yeah.
Scott Wilkerson's favorite game of the year. So huge shout out again to Scott Wilkerson and Bob Blah Blah, who wrote in their favorite games of the year. Kato, you still need
I
more
don't
time.
know, y'all. I don't know. I'm just gonna.
Just guess one. Just take a shot.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, it doesn't.
gosh.
I don't even know Ryan knows.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
It's already written
I
down.
think Lachlan has changed her number one for like, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. Since we
Spoilers,
started this whole
Sean. My
thing.
number one has been my number one for at least a month now.
At least a month. Okay.
I'm gonna say. Was there a Persona game that came out this year?
Persona
Not a
5
new one.
That doesn't
Royal,
count.
the
That doesn't
re-release
count.
came out,
Okay. I'm just gonna say Bayonetta 3. Look, I don't
Okay.
know.
Bayonetta 3.
I
Mark
don't-
it down, Matt.
I don't think it's that.
Mark it
I
down.
don't think it's that. But
It's okay. It's just for the fun and spirit of random guessing.
okay.
Funsies.
For the funsies.
Who was
I feel
in
like
charge
I
of
know.
mine? I count as one?
Yeah, of course. Sean was in charge of yours.
Oh.
And he
Am
guessed.
I allowed to know what you guessed?
Yeah. So he guessed yours was Dreamlight Valley,
But
which
don't,
we will
but don't give it
reveal-
away yet.
Yeah, we'll reveal them at the end once we actually start talking about our games of the year. But he guessed yours was Disney Dreamlight Valley, though he did
Okay.
call it something entirely different.
Okay.
Exactly. He was like,
was close enough.
What's the game with
Dude.
Lilo and Stitch in the Disney Princess?
The Disney one.
Dreamland Mountain.
Yeah. Dreamland.
I don't think I said mountain.
That is that is actually what you said, Sean.
You can't farm on a mountain. Everybody knows that.
Future Ryan, roll back the tape. Roll back the tape, Future Ryan. Oh, look at that. It's been confirmed. Future Ryan found it, rolled the tape. There we go.
Yep.
Anyways, Lachlan, did you have another funny question for us?
Yes, so welcome back to Lachlan's auditory categories. And this question is biggest surprise. So there's a 2-part to this question. So a positive. So let's say this wasn't in your top 3, but you liked it more than you expected. So there's the positive. And then a negative side. It wasn't in your top 3, but you didn't like it as much as you thought you were going to. So a game that isn't in your top 3 game of the years, but you liked it more, and one that you thought you would really love and didn't really end up liking.
Yeah.
So who has an answer? Who?
Ooh, for whom? Pray whom has an
They all
answer?
showed up.
Shut up, Sean.
Oh, Matt's got his hand up.
Okay. I do have one. Actually.
Okay, nice.
Yeah, before I forget everything I'm about to say. Okay, so I, as are Lachlan and I think Court as well, are all, maybe all of you, I don't know, part of the Outright Games little creators group. And they sent me a code for Bratz Flaunt Your Fashion. And that is a good game. It's a
Yes.
good game. Okay, look, is it the best game ever? Of course not. But as a mom or someone who looks for games for younger kids, top tier. If you're looking for a game for your kid that they can play without you having to assist them, highly recommend this game. It's voice acted. Like,
Wow.
that just sends it right up to the top for me, because not even like Animal Crossing or Mario, those aren't voice, and it's annoying. Anytime my child wants to play one of those games, I have to go over there and read every little thing that they're saying every single time. And this is voice acted. So that was a game that I played that was better than I expected. And it's a good game.
Nice.
John, you should play it.
Not a chance. I'm sorry.
Cram sesh.
Definitely not.
Yeah, make it part of the cram session,
I got 100
Sean.
hours of Xenoblade to get to. No.
Good God.
And Total Annihilation, Ryan. We got to play those games.
Of course, we got to play Total Annihilation. Matt, you had your hand up. What about you?
Yeah. Positive surprise, Sonic Frontiers. Again, like I haven't been like a massive, like I haven't really truly enjoyed a Sonic game in quite a while. I'm not a huge fan of 2D Sonic, but Sonic Frontiers, again, not a perfect game, but one I really enjoyed. I had a lot of fun with it. The soundtrack is fantastic. The over-the-top big moments are a ton of fun. And just running around and exploring the world, there was like a certain zen like nature to it that I really enjoyed. And a negative, a game that I was thinking I was going to like and didn't end up liking that much. Soccer Story is a game that didn't ultimately resonate with me very much. I didn't think it pulled off everything it set out to do. But yeah, I'll pick Sonic Frontiers for positive and Soccer Story for negative.
Nice. That's pretty awesome. I have first of all, I could have had like so many that fits the positive side, like Geofield Chronicles, Sonic Frontiers, like a bunch of those games really could have fit that void. I'm actually gonna start with my negative one first because I want to get the negative one out of the way. Honestly, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga for me was a big disappointment. It was a game that I was like really looking forward to this year. Because I saw that the trailers for it and stuff like that, and I love Star Wars, of course. I love all the Lego Star Wars games, and I was like expecting to really fall in love with that one. But just the way that the open world was kind of designed in that game, it just wasn't very fun at all. Like I just really did not have a good time playing the game, and I know other people actually, to its credit, actually like that game. But for me personally, I was really, really let down by that game and just didn't really enjoy it. But the game that I actually have to slot in here and it's actually a very recent game. So there may be some recency bias in here, but I have to give it a shout out anyways. Because Sean Capri actually heard me talk about this game 2 weeks ago on the Xbox Drive. And that game is Need for Speed Unbound, because all the Need for Speed games over the last 10 years, basically going all the way back to Need for Speed Most Wanted, have not been good. And this one just kind of came out of nowhere and really grabbed me, and to the point where now I'm ready to go buy the full game because I really enjoyed what I played of this game so far. I've really enjoyed my time with Need for Speed Unbound. I did not expect to like it at all. And it's one of the best racing games I've played in a long time. I'm really enjoying it. So I got to say, Need for Speed Unbound, fantastic pick. One that I was not expecting to like nearly as much as I did. So gotta give it its shout out.
I don't think anybody was. We all know how much you hate cars, just in general.
Yeah, and the fact pirates. That two of my
pirates and cowboys,
and I would throw it on there. two of my 7 favorite games of the year are card games, because you got that, and you got Gran Turismo 7, which I also really enjoyed this year too. So
God,
just funny to think about.
I mean, happy for you.
Yeah.
What?
Anyways, what about you guys? I want to hear from Sean and Seth, because you guys haven't gone yet.
Does it count if I didn't play it, but I returned it because of how broken ass this game was?
Oh my gosh, here we go.
Here we go.
No, it doesn't count. Doesn't count.
No, it counts.
Okay.
You can say it.
No, I'll say something else. It's fine. I get to say 2 things that way. The game that was, and I think it might be one somebody here's game of the year or number 2 at least. I'm going to take a lot of crap for this, you guys, more than what I just said. Horizon, the new one.
Horizon
is not good.
Horizon,
whatever the new one is called, whatever. Yeah. I think that game is not good, and I wanted to like it, and I think the story goes just absolutely bonkers. I think it has totally lost its way as far as what was actually interesting about it. It's going in the totally opposite direction. I think the combat is tedious. I don't think it's fun, at all. I'm tired as firing off my arrows at these animals, and it's too long. It's too much. So I don't like that game. Very disappointed. And this sounds like I'm actually smiling as I say this, because I'm getting reactions from everybody on the call here.
Arrows fired. Yeah.
But truly disappointing.
Bullets.
In the words are like
words
bullets.
are like arrows.
Exactly. Words are like arrows that just they don't have the right attachment on the end, and it takes you too long to kill the enemy. And golly, I think the concept around this game, again, the premise around it is excellent, and it looks amazing, and it has all the hallmarks to a game that should be in my game of the year kind of category and discussion. So I was truly disappointed, and I just felt like the longer the game went on, the longer the story went on, the sillier it went, and I'm not a fan of where they took that story, not even a little bit.
Nice.
But a good surprise.
Yeah, what's the good surprise?
Also, a bad surprise was Lego. I agree with you, Ryan. And also a bad surprise was Sonic Frontiers, that camera system.
No, get out of here. The slander.
You don't. Yeah, I can't believe you haven't said Mario Strikers yet. I can't believe that has.
Snap!
That's a bad one.
That's actually how far out of my brain it really is. I've really just I went deleted that. Definitely Mario Strikers. Okay, Ryan, delete everything I just said about Horizon. That's Strikers definitely the one. I feel like a lot of my surprises are in my top 3, honestly. But I'll say Kirby. Kirby is probably I kind of was hopeful. I guess I was surprised that it stuck the landing, and I was also surprised at the kind of the second portion of the game. I've heard this is a spoiler to not really give too much of it away, but there's another kind of portion. excellent. Really, really good. Despite what y'all think, I think about Kirby.
Nice.
What
Seth?
you think, I think.
What I think you think I think.
What about you,
We've
Seth?
already talked about it a lot, so I won't belabor the point too much. But my biggest positive surprise is Marvel Snap. Like I really shouldn't like it. I don't like playing games on my phone. I'm not even the world's biggest Marvel dude, and like I absolutely love that game. Negative surprise for me is probably Nintendo Switch Sports actually, because like I think Wii Sports is like a magical game from outer space. Like I think that game is incredible, and Nintendo Switch Sports, like there's nothing inherently wrong with it, but it just didn't grab me the way I was hoping it would. And so I'm not disappointed in the game as much as I'm disappointed in like my relationship to the game, I guess. Like I feel like there wasn't anything that like kind of kept me on the hook for it. So short and sweet.
Nice. And Lachlan, since you asked the question, do you have an answer yourself?
So mine are recent played games that I've actually started playing. One negative, one that I thought I would enjoy for the most part, but ended up not wanting to finish it, is the game Endling.
The Fox one.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, basically you have to keep your babies alive, and one of them did not stay that way, and I'm never playing that game again.
Oh no, can't do it.
Nope.
One
never.
of them
That's
did
a
not
pass.
stay that
nope.
way.
No.
It
Yeah.
unalive.
No.
The whole family like were sad about it, and I was like, and I'm ending
No,
my video
I'm
here.
out.
Like I recorded playing it too, and luckily I didn't show my face because there were actual tears.
Oh my
So
god.
that is one that I thought I would not be so upset about, but I got upset and I should have known better. One that I always go into games without, high expectations so that I'm not disappointed. But one that I went into that same way and ended up even loving more than I thought was the game Aka that actually came
Yeah.
out today, but I got early access luckily and was able to play it. So thanks to the devs and all them for, providing me the code. But that game was so cute, so adorable in all the right ways, and I am for sure finishing that game. Like I've played it since I did my video on it. Like I was pleasantly surprised at all the little details. So
A great call. Yeah.
Nice. Well, anyways, we're gonna move on. So we got to get this show on the road because Kato, we've all said our third favorite game of the year, but we haven't heard from you yet. So we got to hear from you.
Okay.
What was the third best game that you played this year? And it doesn't have to be from this year.
The third best game I played this year. Okay, I just want to preface all of my top 3 by saying none of them will be Animal Crossing.
What?
Even though
Wow.
I know that I love Animal Crossing. And like, look, I play Animal Crossing all the time. I get it. It's my top favorite game of all time, probably. But this is going to be
Not
different.
this time.
Yeah.
Not this time, not this year.
Just like how I didn't pick Sims 4, but I talked about it earlier anyways.
Right. Yeah. My top 3 game, and I feel like no one is going to see this coming. Kirby and the Forgotten Land.
Yeah.
Man, I would have said, I definitely would have guessed that. I got your
Such
top
a
3
good-
locked down, dude. I'm so in.
Oh my god. I want to change my top game just to throw you off. Kirby and
Now
the
I know what
Forgotten
the second
Land.
one is.
So
Confirmed.
good. So good. Such a good game. Add this into the pleasantly surprised. I don't really like Kirby games typically. Sorry. The 2 over there who are Kirby obsessed. I don't normally like them. But this one was great. It was great. I think I'm on the last area of this one. I don't beat games ever. So for me to get that far is saying something. And it's great. If you don't have it yet, go buy it.
Nice. Yeah. Again, I mentioned earlier, Kirby, very popular with the community as well. Lots of love out there for Kirby. So you're definitely not alone with the Kirby love. And also, it's just cool to see people actually liking Kirby this year. And Bobby would have been so mad that there would have been,
Yes.
this
Bobby
much
would have
love for
loved
Kirby.
it though.
That's true.
Bobby
He
would have
actually
loved it.
he would have hated the fact that he would love that game so much.
He would have, yeah.
probably. Yeah, which is amazing. Oh man. But anyways, speaking of the community
Y'all,
as
what
well,
is-
I'll bring in someone else as well while Sean plays with Kirby toys as well. I'm trying to find a good Kirby one, but I think we've used all our Kirby.
I feel like
toys.
Dark Helmet playing with his toys again.
Just a little bit. Ooh, we're gonna bring in Fuya, aka Foolish Fuji, on Twitter and TikTok and on Instagram as well. All the Foolish Foolies. In fact, she actually spelled all of them out, so I even put them on the screen to make it look all fancy. So Fuya said her third favorite game of the year was Pokemon Legends Arceus. This game is such a breath of fresh air and very chill. All year I have been jumping in and out of this game, so I just want to relax and catch Pokemon on my own time. No need to battle if I don't have to which this game mechanic I love very much, and it is kind of being missed in Pokemon Violet and Scarlet. Her second favorite game was Spiritfarer. This is a game that we discussed in the Backtrackers earlier this year. I fell in love with this game instantly, and at 56 hours played, it's safe to say that Spiritfarer is my favorite. The management aspect of Spiritfarer is fairly simple. I love that the build as you go concept of upgrading your boat. The way that you can change the layout of your boat is also very satisfying, kind of like playing Tetris, but you're totally in control. The overall story is very heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. And can we talk about that music? Wow. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, to Kata's point, her favorite game of the year is also Kirby and the Forgotten Land. Sorry, but not sorry, Sean, is what she says in brackets here.
I did.
Yeah, I know.
What have you guys done to me?
The fact that you can control bigger items with Kirby just got me giggling to no end. It's love
got a mouthful mode.
It's one of the quirkiest games I have played all year, and the story really sucks you in. See what I did there, especially towards the end. My favorite of the mouthful modes, of course, is the car or the pipe. I can't seem to pick. No, I think the pipe might actually be my favorite because of this very funny and big reaction I had when I first saw it in the game. And actually, there's an accompanying clip that goes with it. So future Ryan, roll that clip now.
Oh my gosh. Pipe! Oh, nope. That didn't work. Whee! Holy crap! Oh, we stuck in here now. Oh, we flat! We a flat one now. We're a flat pipe! It was a one use. Oh, wait! There's another Waddle Dee I missed! I missed the Waddle Dee!
And thanks, Fulia, for submitting that clip of you falling over with the pipe. As Sean, of course, continues to laugh at the fact that you said that the pipe is the best. So there.
No, Fulia really took us on a journey with that. Like we thought there wasn't going to be a decision to be made, and then she chose it.
Wow. Quickly.
Had me in the first half.
Whiplash, man. Holy cow.
Exactly.
I thought it was a Naga Chaka question at first.
Oh, don't worry. We're getting to Naga Chaka
is
later.
it?
We're getting to Naga Chaka later.
Nice.
His time hasn't happened yet. But I was going to go to Matt next, but it's just falling over.
No, it's a night of giggles, man. Matt and I are just like trying to keep it together.
Into Naga Chaka, that's all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so Matt can hold up his anyway side now. Matt, I want your second game. Give me your second game.
So my second game is similarly keeping up with games that I was not really anticipating, but ended up really, really resonating with me. My second game is Neon White. So shout out to Scott for putting it as his top. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Some of the best level design in the last number of years, full stop. Like the way that those levels flow together and how explorable they are within themselves, and like especially if you start chasing after some of the higher ranked times, and after you start chasing after some of like the treasures and stuff that are hidden in every level. Unbelievable how some of the stuff that you have to pull off and the way that you chain these cards together. It is so high octane and it is so much fun. It is just a blast. It's the first game I played on my Steam Deck this year and just was obsessed. I was obsessed. It was just so good. Loved every second of it. The music's fantastic. And even just like the Persona-esque elements of relationships and stuff that's built around it was just a good time. It was entertaining all the way through. I absolutely loved Neon White, and I'm glad now. Like I'm starting to see the leaderboards come up on Twitter again because it's just hit PlayStation. But my gosh, what a game! I loved it a lot.
Yeah. In fact, those leaderboards from new platforms totally started a Twitter beef, of course, with our friends over at the trophy room, and kind of funny, which is just you love to see it. Which is just a whole thing. They're trying to be the best players in the world at Neon White. I actually, just picked up Neon White, but I haven't had a chance to play it yet because it just came to PlayStation, and I was waiting for it to come to a console that wasn't Switch. And now that it's on PlayStation, I think I'm finally going to get a chance to check it out this week. What I'm really excited about, which maybe we'll talk about in the future at some point.
I have just found Neon White on Apple Music. The soundtrack is on Apple Music. It comes in 2 parts.
Yeah.
Dude.
Nice.
The music in this game is excellent. I feel, again, I don't want to show my hands too much, you guys. But
But you're showing them right now as you're talking. You're doing this with your hands.
my hands, I don't know what to do with my hands at all.
Yeah.
Great music. Dude, you said it. Matt said it so eloquently. This game is for everybody who enjoys everything that is part of these games. Is it fast? Is it speed chasing, speed racing, speed racers? What is it called? What?
Speed running?
Speed running?
Thank you.
Speed racers.
Speed racer? What? The card elements, whatever. This game is for everyone. Like, I just feel it feels great to play. And of course, the music is great. So that's what made me think about going to check it out on Apple Music. People should go check it out there as well, or Spotify or wherever.
On all
Not
the
sponsored.
things, all the places. Well, next up, Seth, I want to hear from you. What's your second favorite game you played this year?
Didn't we already did that, right?
Did we?
Seth is Xenoblade.
Oh,
Yep, I got it written down.
Xenoblade.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I got a
It's
spreadsheet.
fine. It's future Ryan will edit this out because Sean Capri, it's your turn now. What is your second favorite
I was
game?
not expecting that. All right. One of the other favorite games that I played this year that is not what the question that you asked me right now, Ryan. Fury is a game that I play every year. It's a boss rush game from the Game Bakers. It's an absolutely spectacular game. Wonderful soundtrack as well. And I'll also throw a shout out to Gears of War 4. I played that this year, and that game has been forgotten, and that's a shame. That game is wonderful. And so people should go play that. My number 2 actual game, since you asked, Ryan Turford, this may surprise some of you, but it is a victory of my recent undertaking of Game of the Year cramming session. Thanks to our friends at Bandai Namco for providing a code.
There it is.
Is Elden Ring. This game, I think maybe if I had more time to spend with it, because I've not beaten it, I'm not even close. It might have climbed up to number 1. So I'd be curious to see what the actual number 1 is. But Elden Ring is special, and you know it from the second that you start that game up. And it feels exactly the way it should feel. The overall just like architecture and atmosphere is insane. And that's why I think it's one of the reasons I think it's been so well regarded. But I look at that I look at Elden Ring and it's like I just don't want to leave. I don't want to stop playing. And it keeps pushing back on me. All the reasons that I drop off of a lot of other games, it's like I'm not progressing. Well, I should be quitting. And I just don't. I think I spent, Lachlan was watching, like how long did I spend in the exact same area? Like I did not move on. I was just sitting there like farming enemies.
I was like, when you talked about atmosphere, I said, I saw one
area.
One atmosphere. There was an atmosphere.
You were like right here, and that's all I saw.
Singular.
That's the thing. I think there's obviously much more for me to discover, but it's funny because I was talking about it online and I said like I've beaten a boss, and so somebody would say like, oh, it was Margaret.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no, it wasn't. And I had found like a whole bunch of other kind of dungeons to go after and played it a bunch in the Discord, and Drellish was cheering me on. A bunch of other people are kind of like watching along, and it's got such a great community around it as well. And that is very rare in games, especially if you're not only on Nintendo. Like to find a game that's on PlayStation, PC, and Xbox, and where there's like this super supportive community that they want you to find things and explore. And did you know about this? And it brings me back to the good old days of video games. And it seems that even though this is such a challenging, dark game, there's so much to discover. There's so many reasons to stick with it. And I think a lot of friendships to be made along the way, if I can go ahead and say something as corny as that. But Elden Ring is every bit as special as everybody's made it out to be. I'm going to continue to be playing this game for quite some time. But Yeah, that's my second pick for 2022.
I'm so
That's my
happy,
number
Sean.
2.
So happy. I kind of wanted us to do like the high five through the Discord. Yeah, we can't time it right because
nailed
my internet's off, but nailed it. We totally nailed it. My God. But yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm going to bring in Argo. And the reason I'm bringing in Argo, because Argo might have also said the same thing you said. So Argo says God of War Ragnarok by a mile is his favorite game of the year, but also Elden Ring and then Cult of the Lamb as well. So thank you, Argo, for submitting those picks to us as well. Those are some pretty good picks anyways. Also, we are now officially joined by the doctor himself, the level 99 elf medic, Mr. Garrett Bland. Garrett, how are you doing this lovely, lovely evening, good sir?
I'm doing good. I'm coming in. I'm healing the party.
Yeah.
It looks like the Brady Bunch right now. The gaming, carpooling Brady Bunch.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The doctor
I
is
love
in,
it.
man.
Yeah. At this
Yeah.
point, the only person we're missing is Court because he was here earlier. But then we would have had the full
he go
Brady Bunch
night-night?
experience.
He's
Yeah.
tucked
Went
into
night-night.
bed.
Yeah, he had to go to
He
sleep.
went night-night.
You go night-night.
Night.
Warm glass of milk. He's out.
Yeah.
He's out.
So before we go any further, because Garrett, we've been doing this thing all night, Matt has a question for you. So Matt, go ahead.
Okay.
Okay, Garrett. So we've been guessing
Yeah.
each other's game of the year. Okay.
Oh,
But
okay.
but because of odd numbering, okay, we've all been assigned somebody. Okay.
Okay.
We did a group vote for yours. Okay. So we don't tell us the answer, but we think your game of the year is Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Okay.
Okay.
And you've
Yeah.
been given a community member. So what do you think Marcus McCracken's game of the year is?
Lord knows I
Take a
I
shot.
wouldn't know.
All right.
I would take a shot at Elden Ring because it
Elden
feels
Ring,
like
okay.
it's
Safe bet.
Yeah.
Safe bet.
it's a safe bet right now. If someone tried or played Elden Ring and has any familiarity with those game series, they're gonna call that a game of the year because everyone's enjoying it.
I feel like he just
Excellent.
proved why he's got a PhD. Like, I
Right?
really just think he just nailed it.
It's an educated guess.
I don't know
right
the
there. It's an
answer, like,
hypothesis.
I have
brain.
no idea.
I literally
well,
just saw like all of the calculations pop off in his head at once. Be like, hold on, I have to guess. Okay, Elden Ring.
Well, we have a
Actually,
we have a
what I
prime
do
moment,
is
though.
I go to an AI model, just like look it up and, it'll look at all the information for me. That's
Garrett
how
might be an
these
AI
work.
right now. That might be, I'm not sure.
Maybe
I don't see
Garrett.ai has
Garrett.
joined the channel, but
Does not compute.
now we actually have a prime moment here. In theory, I could actually tell Garrett if he's correct because it's a community member. We could actually just read off Marcus McCracken's
True.
picks right now.
Do it. Do
Cool.
it.
Let's do it.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Marcus McCracken's picks. Here we go. Marcus McCracken at Marcus
Okay.
McCracken on Twitter, by the way. He wanted the Twitter shout out as well. So his favorite games of the year are Forza Horizon 5,
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
As Dusk Falls is his second
All
game.
right.
Oh, he's an Xbox
He's
nerd.
definitely an Xbox person, which means
Elden
his
Ring was on
favorite
Xbox.
game of the year is Madden 23. Madden 23 was the
The
correct
Elden Ring of
answer.
sports games.
And in fact,
Close enough. Close enough.
Marcus has got an explanation here as well. So if I'm going to read this. So far, these are my top 3 games for the very simple reason I'm able to play each one of them as a blind gamer. This means a lot to me with the accessibility in Forza is tremendous as well as Dusk Falls. It's on another level again. Every menu and end game narration there is for me to play in the game completely by myself. And as far as sports games go, the Madden franchise is the only one that I keep going back to because they keep doing an excellent job when it comes to accessibility. So, huge
love
shout out to
Excellent.
Marcus.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
But yeah,
How great is that?
that's why there was no way you were ever going to pick that one. But Marcus.
Well,
shout
Garrett's
out.
the first one to be wrong about it.
Wow, that's not.
I
true.
didn't have that
Oh, no.
priori information. I have to revise my model now
Yep.
and implement the
Come back
that
strong.
That information
and
just
come
gets
back
fed
stronger.
into
Formulas
the
are
AI.
changing.
It's added.
Formulas
into
are
Garrett's
changing all
algorithm.
around.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
now you have a year to think about Marcus McCracken's next game of the year. So
Nice.
Yeah,
That's
time.
actually a pretty good.
Right?
Super fun.
Yeah, very nice. Well, let Garrett settle in a little bit as well to get his picks ready to go. I'm gonna go to Lockliff now. I want to know your second favorite game that you played this year. Your number 2.
My number 2 is going to be Cult of the Lamb.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
I thought that was number one.
I was
So I
going to
was
say
right.
that's very surprising to us because someone picked it as your favorite game of the year.
Well, I like to turn tables. I was
Flip 'em.
thinking in regards to how much I played games. And even though Cult of the Lamb was super fun, I'm still playing it. Haven't finished it yet and haven't put in as many hours as what my top one would be. So definitely has to be Cult of the Lamb. I mean, who doesn't love that little lamb guy? All the characters are super adorable, and you get to carry around a sword. Like, hello, that's me. It's like two halves of me. Metalocalypse isn't a name for nothing. Like, I've got to pick that game. Otherwise, there's just something wrong with me. So yeah, that's definitely my number 2. I fell in love with that game instantly, and I'm not even that great at roguelike games at all. Like, I think that might even be my semi-first one, or definitely one of the only ones I've played. So
Nice. That's awesome. Donnie Reese, of course, would be so proud. That's one of us somewhere picked Cult of the Lamb for anything tonight. So I'm so happy you.
Great on Steam Deck.
Yeah.
So
There you go.
I still need to play more of it.
On everything.
It's good
Pretty
on all the
much.
places. But all right, Garrett. Now that you're in with the chat with us, and now that you settled in a little bit, we got to go to you now because we got to even things out a little bit because we need to hear your number 3 favorite game of the year, my friend.
Cool. My number 3 favorite game of the year, and I had to think about this because I actually played quite a bit of games that I liked. But number 3 has to be Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope.
There it is.
Nice.
Yeah, what a great strategy role-playing game set in the Mario universe. Of course, it's the sequel to Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle that came out in 2017, made by Ubisoft. They did a lot of good things in here. I'm glad that I think for one thing, I'm glad that they brought down the difficulty spike pretty much, because in the first game, there was a lot of places where I feel like a novice player would struggle in a strategy role-playing game. They made it much easier. There's so many different options with the characters and with the sparks as well, having different power-ups and ways to defeat enemies. I never felt like I was trapped. I love the worlds there and the characters, the animations throughout. I love playing it on my Switch on handheld. Man, what a good game that was. I need to go back and 100% it. I will be day one on the DLC next year.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much. So yeah, Mario plus Rabbids Sparks of Hope takes my number 3.
Got to get that Rayman DLC. I'm actually pretty excited to check that out. Even though I haven't finished the game yet, I've also enjoyed that game a lot on Switch as well. I think it's very fun.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Well, moving right along. See, I didn't even use the word anyways this time. Matt can't hold up his sign. I use
Anyways.
different words. I hate you guys so much right now. Kato, it's time for you to get in the mix here. What is your second favorite game that you played this year?
Well, I feel like a big old copycat. And look,
Yes.
I so badly want to change this answer right now,
Nope.
but I came in and I was like, okay, this is it. Because I've gone back and forth on my number 2 and my number 1. So not to spoil my number 1, but okay, number 2, Cult of the Lamb.
Nice.
Such a good game. It's such a good game. It's the perfect combo of a roguelike and a time management sim with that little bit of decoration that you can do. And it's the perfect community game. And
Yeah.
it's just so good. And I think one main reason I can't make this my number 1 is because I strictly play it while I'm streaming, because I'm too scared that something's going to happen to one of my cult members while I'm not streaming that I don't want to miss it while I'm, you know what I mean? So, because they're all named after people in my chat. And I do hate that on YouTube it doesn't have the same Twitch integration where they can kind of like sign up themselves or assist you or whatever. But I feel like I've kind of gone around it by using a Nightbot giveaway system to like get into the cult. But
That's a good idea.
it's so good. It's such a good game. And I never thought I would like something like this because I don't really like roguelike. Is this a roguelike or a dungeons?
Is it?
I don't like any of that, like the dungeon crawling and all of that stuff.
yeah.
But I literally spend, I don't know, 10% of my time doing that. And the rest of the time is just like managing the cult and making them work for me and making them pray to me and making them do whatever they're doing. That's the best part. It's so good. If you have not played this game,
What are you
go
doing?
get it. Go get it right now. I mean, and I'm playing it on Switch. I will say on Switch it does crash and freeze.
It does crash.
Occasionally.
Oh, wow.
Occasionally. I would say like once every 3 times I play it.
My goodness.
Wow, that's a lot.
So,
That's a lot of
Yeah.
times.
Kind of a lot.
so
That's more than
yeah,
Pokemon.
It does do that. So just make sure that you're saving it and you'll be good, I guess. Or play it on something other than Switch.
Yeah, like Steam Deck or other platforms.
You have an option.
like that.
Right.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yep.
I'm just glad. If I would have known that, I would have put you guys right next to each other. But I'm so glad you also picked Cult of the Lamb as well.
Yeah.
Glad to hear it, making the list here. As for me, because I feel like I should get in here with my number 2 here.
Sure.
And again, another time I didn't use anyways. See, I'm coming up with other words, you guys. This is actually a recent addition to my list. In fact, this game came out today, but I've had it for a week and a half now. I played it on stream already. And actually, at one point in this slot was a completely different game from the same genre. Because, I love beat 'em up games, going all the way back to, arcade days playing, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Simpsons and stuff like that. And I've always loved like the modern approach to beat 'em up game design. And we had 2 really good ones come out this year. One of them was Shredder's Revenge, which I don't know if we'll talk about later. If one of us doesn't talk about it, we have plenty of community suggestions that we'll then talk about Shredder's Revenge, so we can kind of leave it like that. But the other one kind of swept me off my feet this week, and it's one that I was really looking forward to this year. And that game is the game our Fantasy Critic League hinges on, River City Girls 2. It's my second favorite game that I've played this year because it's not just a beat 'em up game, my friends. It's a beat 'em up RPG. And you know me, I'm a sucker for a good RPG, but I also love beat 'em up games. So it's in the River City Ransom franchise. And basically you're just going around as one of 6 awesome characters, or you can play 4-player online co-op if you want to do that. And you're beating up dudes, you're going to convenience stores and buying food that, levels up your characters, and you're leveling up different stats. You're getting all kinds of different moves from the dojo, which is of course run by Jimmy from Double Dragon, who misses his brother very much and likes to tell you that he misses his brother all the time. And I had a blast with this game. The music is incredible from Megan McDuffie. She does this incredible like techno pop kind of soundtrack. And I loved her soundtrack with the first game. And I love it even more with the second one. The visuals are fantastic. I love the manga style that they go for with these manga panels as they tell the story through these cutscenes. And it's just a ton of fun to play. The only downside is that currently at the time we're recording this, they didn't actually release the patch to adjust the frame rate to 60 frames per second on all the consoles. So it does run a bit sluggish at 30 frames per second, but it did not stop me from playing the hell out of this game from the time I imported my copy from Japan, which by the way, is crazy enough as it is that I would be crazy enough to import a copy of this from Japan just to play it early. Cause I never do that. But even then I sunk so much time into this game and I've enjoyed every minute of it. It's such a blast to play. So River City Girls 2 not only won us the Fantasy Critic versus the Trophy Room this year, but also was my second favorite game of the year. And everyone could kind of tell from when I was playing it on a live stream last week and just how happy I was playing it. So gotta give it its shout out here.
Ryan had faith in this game from day one. I don't remember exactly when we did our picks for Fantasy Critic, Ryan, but like you had your eye on this one. I'm so glad that it landed. For it to be number 2 within your top 30, within your top 80 is pretty remarkable, man. This game was in pretty tough competition. Now I'm very curious to see what your number 1 game is going to be, but yeah, dude, I love that you was it an import? Like, how the heck did that even? Is that how that worked?
Yeah. So the funny thing about the game is that if you wanted a physical copy, they do it through limited run games here in North America, but obviously the pre-order window was very limited. It was actually super expensive to get a copy. I think it was like $60 or $70 US to get a physical copy of the game, which is expensive. It's more expensive than the digital copy. Or if you wanted a Japanese physical copy of it, which includes the North American version of the game, it was 40 Canadian dollars to get that imported from Japan, and it comes with the first game on the cartridge as well. So for me,
Seems like a no-brainer.
It was a no-brainer, especially because I missed getting from limited run the copies of the first game from them anyway. So it was just like slam dunk for me doing it that way. So, and it came out a week early, which just was even more 2 weeks early actually, which was even more incentive to go that route. But yes, Rivers and
of
Girls
course,
2.
more importantly than your joy in the game, of course, as you mentioned, completely buried Mr. Badbit and Mr. K-Step from the trophy room. It all came down to this. They counterpicked it like a bunch of silly, dumb idiots. Yep. And we got, I think, 10 points out of it. They got 10 points taken off, and that's all she wrote. So I just wanted to make sure that we double down on that. Yeah. You suck, Joe.
I mean, they also counterpicked Kirby as well, which they lost 15 points for.
Man, they're so bad at this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But question.
Why did they counterpick Kirby? Jeez.
I know. Well, I mean, to be fair, we didn't have a lot of good games for them to counterpick anyways. But go ahead, Matt. You have a question from the press pool.
Yeah, Matt from the press pool. How's the multiplayer in the game? I don't know if you've had a chance to play it. Is there multiplayer? I may have missed it while you were talking, but like my wife and I like to play like the beat 'em ups. Would this be a good game for her and I to play together?
Yeah. In fact, actually, I would say if you haven't played the first one yet, it was on Game Pass, but I think it's still on sale right now. So maybe play that one first before you play the second one. But that one only has 2-player co-op, whereas this one has 4-player co-op because there's 6 playable characters in total in this new one. And the online multiplayer, from what I've played of it, is pretty good. It just opened up today, though. So I've hardly get a chance to play the online multiplayer, but I also don't play a lot of online multiplayer for beat 'em up games anyways. So,
but is there couch co-op?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Couch co-op up to 4 players, too.
Perfect. That's what I need to know. Thank you, Ryan. Matt from the press pool.
You're welcome. You're welcome. There you go. And last but not least, Garrett, I need your number 2 as well. You're the only one left that hasn't given their number 2 yet.
Gotcha. Ryan, I think I know what your number 1 is, but I'll let you wait to speak on it. I have it in my mind. I know what it is.
What do you think? What do you think? Why wouldn't you tell us what you think? Just put it out.
Tell us what you think. No, I want to leave it a surprise, Ryan, because I know the game. Like
you can call the shot.
Listen, I talked to the guy.
Oh yeah, me
every week.
Same. I totally know his game of the year too. Yeah, I'm just not gonna say it.
Yeah, me too. I actually know it too. Yeah, I'm not gonna say it.
One of y'all had to pick it, and I can already tell you it's wrong. But anyways, go on, Garrett.
Okay. Anyways, my number 2. I think it's probably one of the more underrated games of this year. And I really enjoyed it when I played it through this experience. It came out day 1 on Game Pass. That's Nobody Saves the World by Drinkbox Studios, the people who make Guacamelee, Severed. It's so dang good. It is a 2D action role-playing game where you take on a form of many different classes. You can be a horse, you can be a bodybuilder, you can be a mermaid, you can do all sorts of things. And you just go throughout a 2D map in these various dungeons, and you just attack monsters, hordes of monsters like Diablo. And it is so good. There's so many buffs and debuffs you have to consider. And you can just change to any form at will. Like, so many different changes at once. It's so cool. The bosses are unique. A lot of good fighting stances there. Good story. It's very funny. It's like service level funny story. I love the writing in it. Good humor. Yeah, man. Nobody Saves the World is something special because I think it has a good pacing behind what a 2D action game should be. And I have no faults to this game. Like, I don't have a complaint. Like every other game I play, I'm like, okay, there's something bothering me about it. Even my game of the year, I'm like, okay, there's something bothering me about certain things. But this one, I cannot find a fault, like a complaint, much at all. So good length. It's like about, I don't know, 10 to 12 hours, something like that, to beat the game. There's DLC now as well. Mm-hmm. It's still on Game Pass, so check it out. And yeah, that's pretty much it. That's my number 2. Nobody Saves the World.
I love that. Is on my cramming list. I'm so glad somebody mentioned it, but I have to just ask, Kato, do you have anything you want to say about this game? I feel like you got a reaction out of you.
Can I just say that I'm so happy that there are games for all of us to play and enjoy, and that we are not required to play all games. And there's just something for everyone. It's great.
Come on, you don't want to be a horse.
A mermaid?
Who doesn't want to be a mermaid?
I don't.
A mermaid.
You could be a horse, and the attack is
pup.
like a backwards attack. You literally hit the monsters with your 2 hind legs, and it's freaking awesome.
It's good.
You fart all around too.
Classic horse maneuver.
Game of the year.
Yeah,
Game of the
one
year
of the
right
special
there.
attacks, actually. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
Good
awesome,
stuff.
man.
Nice.
Sounds great.
So glad you had that. All right. Moving on now. So, Lachlan, before we go to Game of the Year, before we talk about our number one, we got 2 things we got to do. Number 1, we got to go through the community suggestions. We'll leave that for a second. Do you have more questions for us, Lachlan? Because I feel like I would be remiss if we didn't go through your questions.
Yeah, I have 2 more. So welcome back to Lockless Auditory Categories. My 3rd question is, what is your favorite side character? So not the main character you play as, but a game that has a side character. What would you say is your favorite?
I'm gonna throw out something. I don't know if this is my favorite. It might even be a cheating kind of answer, but just to throw out something, just to give people some time to think about this. But you gotta love Rabid Rosalina in Mario plus Rabbids. Was really good. Rabid Rosalina, I mean, just the design is wonderful as well. But when Rabid Rosalina fires off her weapon, she does like this. That's the best thing ever. So shout out to Rabid Rosalina, man. Absolutely.
I think I'm gonna steal that one too.
Yeah, it's pretty
Like
good.
Rabid Rosalina is my spirit animal.
Yeah.
Every time you look at her, she just like doesn't care about anything about life. She reminds me of like the teenage years of myself, just like, oh, I'm so bored, I don't care. You know, that type of motivation. And then she's awesome.
I'll toss out Brock from God of War Ragnarok. I think his character is fantastic. The story that you go on with him is just incredible. I don't want to get into it too much, but like he's hilarious. He's awesome. The way that they build on him from the first game is just incredible. I really love that character a lot.
Nice.
Believe it or not, I'm racking my brain here. I honestly don't have a good side character. I think it's like
I have another one. Since you don't have one, I'll take your spot.
Cool.
It's Murray from the skull, the skull head from Return to Monkey Island. Maybe a bit of a spoiler. No, I don't think it's a spoiler, but Murray has been an ongoing character in the previous game, so I was very pleased to see Murray show up. He is absolutely hilarious, and pretty much every other character in that game could be taken here. Such a great game, Return to Monkey Island,
and definitely
Saved
a
you, Ryan.
backtrackers game as well.
It sure is. Dude, that chef in Return to Monkey Island that gets stuck in like the rudder of the ship is so
Oh
good.
my
I love
gosh.
that. I forget his name, but it's great. I'm gonna shout out Neon Yellow from Neon
Nice.
White.
Nice.
I love him so much. Like he's just like your bro. He's like, you're my Sasuke, bro. Like he's so good. I love him so much. And they do an interesting thing with that game story too, where you sort of don't really know what your relationship to the characters are. So yeah, I'll shout that out.
Love that. That's a great. Yeah, you can definitely pick any of them. Really.
Yep.
Pretty much.
Fantastic cast.
Ensemble.
Even like the cat boss. Awesome.
Yes. Mikey. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't believe John Cena's giving us missions.
Good God. Well, Lachlan, what about you? Do you have a favorite side character?
So mine are the Tinykin from the game
Yes.
Tinykin.
Wow.
Specifically, probably if I had to choose one of them, probably the red ones because they're like little bombs that you throw. But yeah, the little Tinykin are my favorite. They're just so cute.
Great shout out. Yeah, such a good game.
What about Kato?
Yeah.
Look, I don't know if mine counts for multiple reasons. This game didn't come out this year. It came out forever ago. And I don't even know if it's technically a side character. But Gooigi from Luigi's Mansion 3.
Yes.
I just played this year. And
Nice.
I love this game. And I just love this mechanic so much of having Gooigi to help solve puzzles. So this is my first Luigi's Mansion game. And so I really liked him a lot. I don't know if that counts, but that's mine.
That's a good one.
My
course it
questions
does.
are very loose. If you played it this year and you liked the side character, it counts.
I'll push the boundaries of it then, Lockleth. Shout out to Al from Animal Crossing, the
Oh
villager
my
Al,
God.
the gorilla.
The greatest.
Trash in the summer.
Yeah. And likewise, to
Those
finally give an
eyebrows.
answer, Sean, my Sims gardener from The Sims 4. Favorite side character. We got into so many adventures
Wow.
together. We went to space together. We grew a garden together. We had a lot of good times with my gardener in this.
As you do with your
Aw,
gardener.
that's
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah, going to space and
Why isn't
howling
he
at the
growing
moon.
the garden himself?
I mean,
Yeah.
what I have money. Why would I grow the garden myself?
No, the gardener.
No, why
sounds
is it-
like, yeah.
You said
Yeah.
you grew it together. Did he grow it and then you just benefited from it?
You
or did
just
y'all?
helped it? Or?
Look, The
Grow
Sims
it
4 is
together.
a complicated mess of game, Kato. So.
Who suggested the space trip? Did that come from the gardener, or was that on your behalf?
No, please. I always ask people to go to space with me, and then we went to this alien planet.
Well,
We were
now I'm offended.
There were a bunch of alien planets there, aliens there on the planet, and then we tried to pick up the aliens to bring them back to the shuttle
What
with
is
us.
I haven't
Sims?
been
Were
invited
you
to
trying
space.
to plant
were
the aliens?
successful.
You have not reached the proper relationship level with Ryan to get the space trip yet. I'm
Clearly
sorry.
not. Clearly not. I'm
Evidently
sorry.
so.
Working on it.
Talk about Blue Box one too many times, and inevitably you don't get invited to go to space.
That is kind of how that works, Matt. You talk about Blue Box.
Rename him to Brian Murford, and I guess I don't get to go to space either.
Yeah, it's fine. I don't
One
even
too
think
many times about a monocle.
just to throw it out there, Sean. I don't even think you like space. I don't think you've told me you like space before. So
Never invite me to space.
Yeah.
Sean famously hates space.
yeah,
Hates
That's what I'm
Kirby.
known for.
Hates space. Top two.
look at all these
I
things.
literally have a book about an astronaut right here. I'm reading it right now, you guys. Love
Hate
that
reading
book?
what you do in your own time, dude.
That book says Chris Hemsworth. That doesn't say.
Hadfield.
Gas.
Chris
He did go to
Hemsworth in
space in
space.
Thor.
He's a Canadian hero.
Oh, okay.
Chris Hemsworth is Canadian?
Hadfield. God.
I didn't know Thor was Canadian. That's cool.
That
His
is pretty
mustache
cool.
is majestic.
Thanks for giving us these fun facts, Sean. But Lachlan, final question. Go.
I asked for this.
Anyways, my last question is favorite game that you can pet the animal in.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's an easy one for me.
Wow.
So, yeah.
My favorite one
The Sims.
is Pentiment from Obsidian because you can pet not just one pet, but multiple pets. There's lots of dogs and cats throughout, Germany in the mid 1500s that you can go pet, and you can pet all of them. And then there's an achievement for petting all of the pets. So got to give it a shout out to Pentiment on that one.
I do have an answer for this one.
There you go.
And my favorite by far, Cult of the Lamb. If one of your cult members is a dog, you can pet them. You can choose to pet them to get your what's it? I can't remember what it's called. To get your little points from them. And it's
Sorry,
so
I was
cute.
looking up a game to see if I could pet an animal in it.
Same.
I
Everyone's frantically trying to
Yeah,
find an
I-
answer.
Yeah.
I didn't tell
I got-
anybody the questions ahead of time. Like I just had them prepared. It's funny because the first two questions were suggested by Sean and Seth, and I still think I threw Sean off with the question.
Probably threw me off too. Yeah.
What else
the
is
other
new?
the other two were mine, but I think Garrett, Matt, you had one.
I got it. I actually finished this game this year, and I really enjoyed it. Far Cry 5 is
Oh,
you
nice.
could pet all the dog companion, and it's actually pretty good animation. You go up and pet, he rustles around, and
Yeah.
He actually plays like he like rolls over and like goes on his like legs up, and it's super cute actually.
I mean, that's also the only game that I know of where you can pet a bear, and then the bear is like, oh.
You can pet a bear. I did pet a bear in Far Cry 5.
Yeah.
Yes.
See, there you go.
I'll
kind
shout
bear.
out Marvel's Midnight Suns, a game I've really, really been enjoying, and it's my honorable. But there's a demon dog. You can pet it. If you pet it, you gain relationship points with the demon dog, and then you the demon dog by petting it and praising it, and it's a cute little demon dog. So Marvel's Midnight Suns,
You little demon dog.
little demon dog.
Little demon dog.
I'm gonna go with the so there's a type of collectible in Bayonetta 3 that are like cats that you have to chase around, and when you catch them, they like crawl up on your shoulder, and Bayonetta pets them and stuff, and it's super cute. I'm gonna go with that.
Sean, did your search yield
There's
any
got to be
results?
somebody else to go. There's got to be somebody like one other person.
It's
Just
me.
you.
I think you're the only one left besides Lachlan.
I'm still trying to scroll down on Can You Pet the Dog on twitter.com.
All right, Lachlan,
Oh
you go
my
ahead.
God.
Give your answer before
Oh
Sean.
my gosh. Okay. Well, mine is going to have to be ooblets because any of the ooblets that you have in your party, you can pet them. You can even pet the ones that are like you find out in the world and stuff as well. Love that game. It's not in my top 3, so I definitely wanted to mention it some way tonight. So yeah, love that game. All the little
Great game.
costumes. I just did the winter event for that game the other day. So much fun. They done content for it throughout since it came out on Switch this year. So I know it came out like a year or 2 ago, but it came out on Switch actually this year. So definitely wanted to mention that. And I keep talking to give Sean time, but
Thank you.
Are you ready?
gave me exactly the right amount of time. My first answer is I assume that you can pet the gardener in The Sims, so I imagine that would be a lovely experience.
You can. Look at that.
Only in space.
I'm just assuming. I don't know. But also, in the brief time that I did play God of War Ragnarok before recording this, you can pet an amazing wolf. And that is very special. So I'm glad. Thank you for buying me just enough time because that's actually a pretty legitimate answer. If I do say so myself, special moment.
It's true that it was
But
a
also
special
the
moment
gardener.
when I pet the gardener, Sean.
Yes, exactly.
So
I think most of his research was about the gardener, to be
yeah,
honest.
I can definitely tell you're really into the gardeners now, Sean. It's the thing. But
I'm just filtering. I just want you to know there's so much more I could say, but
I know.
Lachlan would shake her head at me, I think.
I know. Well, that's it
Probably.
for
Somebody's
Lachlan's
gotta do it.
really awesome questions. Shout out to Lachlan for coming up with those. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Spicing up the show a
Yay.
bit. But
Go
now it's
Buck.
time to hear from you, the listeners or the viewers, because we still have some of these to go through, and some of them are actually quite long. So we'll get them through here now. We're going to start with Drellish at Drellish hashtag 1387 in the Discord, who says God of War Ragnarok is their number 1 pick. A game specifically designed for elderly fathers with poor muscle memory. Great story. You never all of a wall and have awesome therapy sessions with Freya. Look, I'm just reading what's on the paper. Okay, that's what the paper says here. And then next up, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the best RPG of the year with the most irritating "This is not my final form" end boss. Awesome music. And then Drellish's last pick is Inscription. It pushes the envelope on card games, and it makes the most creative uses of the mechanic. So shout out to Drellish for
Nice.
those awesome picks.
Nice.
Next up we got Delroy at HopDoxy Gaming on Twitter and Delroy on Discord. Delroy says his third favorite game of the year is Tunic. It came out earlier in the year and nothing has surpassed it. A true labor of love in every respect, a love letter to the past, and a reminder that you can indeed teach an old dog new tricks. Piercing the manual together will remain a fun memory for years to come. And then his number 2 pick is Tinykin, which y'all actually mentioned a little bit earlier. Tinykin, this one came out of nowhere and quickly found its way into my heart. It's a beautiful little game, meticulously designed and not afraid to let the player quote unquote win and simply feel good by playing the game. Love the borrower's take on this world. And then Delroy's third pick for this year is actually, honestly, I'm surprised that this has come up a lot with our community. As Dusk Falls. is his third pick.
Wow.
It was this or Elden Ring, but I wanted to include this game because it was something that brought my wife and I joy in this amazing thing we call gaming. We played it nightly for about a week, speculated about the plot over lunches, talked about our favorite characters running errands. It was almost sad to see its conclusion, and also how stupidly big the smile was on my face when my wife immediately said, "We have to play it again. I have to see the other choices." And again, that came up with our discussion as well with as Dust Falls. Like, it was a really interesting game, and I can imagine, can't even imagine what it's like to play with that with a person on the couch together. Like, that's so cool.
Delroy, I want to, and anybody else who's played it, jump into the Discord and just mark spoilers. It's a great thing that some people are able and know about. I don't know if everybody knows about it, but you can talk about a game and you mark it as a spoiler and just like censors it. It's like a redaction kind of thing. So I want to hear about how people played this game because I think it's fascinating. Like, who survived, who lived, what did you do with the husband and the wife? Like, there's things that happened there. I want to know. I feel like there's only one way to handle that situation, but some others made other choices. So
I was going to say, you know that you and I made different choices when it came to that, as it is. So.
Nobody survived my playthrough. They're all dead.
That's because you killed them on purpose, John.
I didn't really, I wasn't putting them in safe situations.
All right.
We'll put it that way.
Well, next up, we got Skycatcher Gaming, which, by the way, shout out to Skycatcher Gaming, who has been, flooding us with the RPG Cave, of course, with amazing questions and stuff all year. They have interesting picks here. Number 1, Near Gestalt, a dad trying to save his daughter and Kane. Their second pick is Grandia. It was such a genuinely charming game and had so many cool character designs. By the way, that's a PS1 game for folks that don't know. So that's not even a modern game. And then the last game, Pokemon Scarlet, because it gave us so much content and I'm just getting started. So much Pokemon tonight. It's just making sure.
Just like the work on the game is just getting started.
Exactly.
On fixing it.
Oh, yeah. They're not going to fix it.
They'll get there.
They stole their money.
They apologize.
Yeah. Now,
Apologize.
Yeah, sure.
Sean, this next community session will warm your heart because I heard that you and Robbie Bobby Miller talked a lot about lists this year and how much you guys like lists.
Yeah.
So Robbie Bobby Miller, when I asked for 3 games, gave me a list. So let's read from Robbie Bobby Miller's list here. So number 1, Sonic Frontiers, because that game's actually good, Sean. And that's me adding that, by the way. It's not Robbie Bobby Miller adding that. Next up, Cult of the Lamb is his number 2 game. And then third game is Pokemon Scarlet, as well as Inscription as well. But then Robbie Bobby Miller also throws in best sports game of the year was MLB The Show 2022. Apparently there was no contest between that and other sports games. Best DLC of the year was for Returnal and Minecraft Dungeons. Best ongoing game was Warframe. It also apparently had the best daily login rewards. And then Robbie Bobby Miller's best indie game of the year was anything Devolver Digital made. It also, indie games do not get enough love. Sorry, AAA games, you are not that special. So there you go. When I asked for 3 games from Robbie Bobby Miller, we got a whole list. And then
I love it.
Last community suggestion. Of course, we actually have 2 videos to go to in just a second. This one comes to us from famous Seamus, the most famous of all Seamuses, Seamus Mikaizik, who says, God of War Ragnarok, excellent combat, breathtaking visuals, and fantastic performances from all the actors. It improves just about everything from God of War 2018. His next pick is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Shredder's Revenge. Great 16-bit visuals and animation, easy to understand combat, challenging yet rewarding gameplay, and also one of the best soundtracks of the year. And then his last pick, and this one's a reader, so sit back, folks. Genshin Impact. I usually hate gacha games since they're basically and sometimes literally gambling, and there are some legitimate criticisms with Genshin Impact, like gacha mechanics and the lack of diversity with playable characters. I somehow played over 200 hours of the game this year. I just really enjoy exploring the world, and I enjoy combining elemental attacks to make reactions happen. I also like a lot of the characters like Sinnoh, Rosaria, Klee, I don't even know how to say this one, Nenanog, Noel, and my favorite character, Biodu. It's definitely a bit of a guilty pleasure for me, but I don't regret my time with Genshin Impact. And before any of you ask, I spent $0 of the game, yet I'm not going to do it anytime soon. But I also would say that I would never not spend money on the game, especially with games like Fortnite, where I spent over $50 playing. on just Star Wars skins, future famous Seamus, do not disappoint me. So there you go. Famous Seamus waxing poetic over Genshin Impact. And also we have 2 last community suggestions, but of course these are very special because these are video submissions. Of course, I had asked for people, if you wanted to be on this episode, all you had to do is just shoot yourself with your phone or with your camera or your podcast setup. Not doing what you guys thought of. Clearly.
Persona 3 style.
Easier way,
right?
There's got to be a better way. Use your phone and just, film yourself. I should have said that. Telling us your favorite games of the year. Just like Anna Hudak and Nagachaka did. So let's go to those now.
Hey everybody, I'm Anna Hudak. And before we get started, just want to apologize for my voice. I am very sick right now, so if it starts sounding scratchy or keeps going like in and out or whatever, I'm sorry. I'm just extremely sick right now, so my voice is just totally off. Anyway, so my 3 favorite games that I played this year are, I'll start off with Halo Infinite. So I have epilepsy. I have had quite a few seizures this year, and I have gotten seizures from playing video games. But Halo Infinite is a game that I was able to play without having the fear of having a single seizure. And the reason for that is that they have just the best accessibility features ever. And I'm not exaggerating, I've never seen a game with as good accessibility features as it. It's got accessibility features for everyone. And for me in particular, I loved being able to turn off the screen shaking, being able to turn off flashing colors, being able to turn off the light that the guns emit when we're shooting, and things like motion blur and stuff like that. So that was awesome. It allowed me to play the entire game without having to fear for my personal safety and health even once, and allowed me to play what was honestly such a delight to play. I love Halo. It's one of my favorite franchises. And, Halo 2 and 3 are still my favorite games in the series. It just depends how I feel that day. Either one could be number 1, the other one could be number 2. But Halo Infinite was definitely the one that felt the best to play. Just a genuine delight to play, and being able to play it without having to worry about myself, because I could turn off all my triggers for my epilepsy was just awesome. Then the last 2 that I want to shout out are Unreal Tournament Game of the Year Edition. So it's a classic arena shooter. It's been out for 24 years, and it still feels amazing to play. It does not feel... The most dated thing about it is the graphics, because the gameplay does not feel dated one bit. It is a genuine delight to play. Honestly, I truly think that there is no first-person shooter on the computer right now that you can play that feels as good as Unreal Tournament Game of the Year Edition. None of them. Doom Eternal, Doom 2016, Call of Duty, Halo, I don't care. None of them feel as good to play as Unreal Tournament Game of the Year Edition. It's just so fun to play. I've played so many hours of it, including on end. Just so good. Anyway, and then the third and final game I want to shout out is Streets of Rage 4. I played that for the very first time this summer. I played it with my dad. We played it over a week. So I suck at gaming, admittedly. I am a very bad gamer. I've been playing it my entire life. And yet I'm still awful. I really am. I have no gaming skills. So I rarely ever beat games. And I also rarely get to play with other people. So getting to play it with my dad and beating the entire game in 1 week was just such a wonderful moment. It's going to be, there's so many memories. I'm not going to forget my time playing that game anytime soon. It's got a special place in my heart. And so, yeah, loved playing Streets of Rage 4. It honestly may have been my favorite game that I played this year, just for the memories. Anyway, that's all I've really got. Thank you all for listening. Peace.
Hello there, it's Nagachaka, and I'm here to talk about my 3 favorite games that I played in 2022. In the third spot, my favorite game from 2022 is Night in the Woods. It is a point-and-click adventure game with some light platforming elements. And the reason why this game is my third favorite game from 2022, there's two reasons for it. The first reason is the story and the characters just really hit home for me. Night in the Woods is about that transitional phase when you're kind of going from young adult to an adult, kind of when you're leaving school and finding a job or continuing school. And the game focuses on May Zabrowski as she goes through this transition, as she returns to her small town and meets up with her friends. And one of the most special things about Night in the Woods is the writing, because this is something that we discussed because it was a Backtrackers game. One thing that we mentioned was just how alive the characters felt. And this game doesn't have any voice acting, it doesn't have fancy graphics. But even despite all that, the characters felt so relatable, felt so alive. And that's due to the fact that it's just S-tier writing. Like, it feels like you are in there talking with your friends. And when I played Night in the Woods, it really brought me back to what it was like when I was in my 20s and just doing stupid stuff with my friends. And the second reason that that game is quite special to me is because that was probably one of the first games and sessions that I had with the Backtrackers that I really felt connected to my fellow Backtrackers. So that game is really special to me in my heart. And as for the second game of 2022 that's really standing up for me is Resident Evil 8, Resident Evil Village Gold Edition. And I remember when this game was announced, I saw all the trailers. I actually wasn't really that hyped for it. It looked very action oriented. I was getting a little bit worried that it was falling back into the pits of Resident Evil 6. So I didn't play it right at launch. But when I did play it this year and the Gold Edition, I was blown away by how fun it was. Is it as scary as the other Resident Evil games? For the most part, no. There is one house in Resident Evil Village. If you know, you know. That house is quite scary in the main game and in the DLC. But outside of that scary part, the game is it's just a games game where like you're just so addicted and just having so much fun mowing through werewolves, and the story is so stupid, but you couldn't care less because you're having so much fun. So Resident Evil 8 definitely is a highlight for me for 2022. And as for my favorite game that I got to play in 2022, which is quite shocking because I played this game at least a few times and I stopped playing it because I wasn't into it at all. But because Marcus O'Neill should get into sales because he's incredibly persuasive, he would not stop talking about how incredible Red Dead Redemption 2 is, especially when we did our We the Gamercast this episode this year. And I gave that game another shot, and I'm so glad that I did. It's the Breaking Bad of video games in terms of storytelling about morality, your values, your principles, loyalty. What are you going to be loyal to? I just got lost in the characters, in the world, in the story. And when I was able to just allow myself to experience the story the way it was supposed to be told, I couldn't put the game down. It was such an emotional roller coaster ride. So I'm so grateful I got to play it. And it's very special because it was a 180 for me. Like, I could not be less surprised. I couldn't be more surprised at how I've changed my opinion about that game. So Night in the Woods, Resident Evil Village Gold Edition, and Red Dead Redemption 2 are my top 3 games of 2022.
And thank you so much once again to Anna Hudak and Nagachaka for submitting those really excellent videos. And again, the best part is about this is that none of the panelists here have actually seen those videos yet. They're actually going to probably get to see them probably after we're recording this, because I think I'll make sure they get a chance to watch those afterwards. But enough about all that. It's time to see really who was right and who was wrong when picking games of the years, going into things.
I was right.
And I think we're going to go bottom up. So we're going to actually start with Seth. Seth, reveal to us your game of the year. What is the best game that you played this year?
Wait. Please, Matt, let's go to a reminder, because we've talked about a lot of things since then. Who was guessing for Seth? And what was the guess?
I got you. We'll go for a quick wrap up. Okay, so I guessed for Sean. I guessed Elden Ring. I'm already wrong because Sean talked about that in his number 2. Okay. Ryan, for me, guessed God of War Ragnarok. Court guessed for Seth, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Court's already wrong. Seth talked about that in number 2. Seth guessed for Locklith, Dreamlight Valley, because that was the first one that you said.
And I'm right.
We're getting there. Sean guessed for Kato, Dreamlight Valley. Locklith guessed for Court, God of War Ragnarok. Kato guessed for Ryan, Bayonetta 3. We all guessed for Garrett, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. And Garrett guessed for Marcus McCracken with Elden Ring. Incorrect. So the only ones that we have still in contention are Ryan's pick for me, Seth's pick for Locklith, Sean's pick for Kato, and our group pick for Garrett. Because as we've already discussed, Court's Game of the Year, I think it's safe to unveil that Locklith was correct with God of War Ragnarok.
Yes.
So far, the only person with a point on the board is Locklith.
Yeah,
nice.
Can I
Yay,
guess
Lachlan.
Ryan's Game of the Year now? Can I take a guess? Matt, what was your guess again?
My guess for Ryan?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just before they were revealing it.
So
Look,
Kato guessed for
okay.
Ryan.
Just before revealing it. Okay.
Yeah, we're not there yet. We'll get there.
Kato was about to defend herself.
It was me. Look, I don't have a PhD, okay? I was caught off guard, and I don't know all these games, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kato's the meme of the lady with.
If
all
you
the-
had been here, I could have gone to you
Yeah.
and asked you
That's
to help
true.
me.
That's true.
Sorry.
Anyways,
Where
I'm
were
going to
you?
point down now.
West Coast,
here.
West Coast.
I think we need to give Seth his time in the sun to tell
Okay,
us his
Seth.
favorite game of the year.
Okay.
Go, Seth.
Yeah, so it's Neon White. I've talked about this like all year. Neon White was I was super excited for it. I remember playing the Steam Next Fest demo like a year and a half ago and just falling immediately in love with it. Everything that Matt said earlier, I completely agree with. It is, I could sit here and talk about how, the level design is immaculate. It's not a card game. I think a lot of people get turned off by the whole card game thing. It's not a card game. It is just impeccably designed. It is fast. It is the most accessible speedrunning game. If you've ever had any sort of like inkling of like, hey, maybe I want to be a speedrunner or something, or not. I mean, like, that's not normally the kind of game I go for, but Neon White just totally captured my imagination. But more than that, what really made this game special for me, I've played a lot of games in my life that tap into nostalgia for being a kid, like things that remind me of being 8 years old, things that harken back to like Mario or whatever, like things that remind me of being like a kid at my grandparents' house or whatever. But Neon White reminded me of a time of my life that I didn't realize was actually really precious to me until playing this game, because Neon White reminds me of what it is like to be a teenager. And it captures like a very like formative part of my life, that sort of 2002, like 14-year-old Seth who would fall asleep on his parents' couch watching anime on Adult Swim at 2 a.m., and like that's what Neon White is. Neon White is if you went into that kid's dreams and plucked a game out of his brain, that's Neon White. I've never played a game that felt so specific, like that felt like it just so specifically existed at the cross section of a formative time of my life, and that's just totally what Neon White is. It's just a very, very special game to me. So
Celebrate Neon White.
Celebrate Neon White. I love the way that you described that, dude, because I honestly, like, now that you painted that picture, I feel the same way. Like if you took teenage Matt and you're like, what's a game that you want? Fast, furious, anime style, just ridiculousness all the way through. 100. You've nailed it, and I'm with you. That game is really special.
Yeah, and it was like, man, like I never think about that. Like as I get older, again, I look back on like childhood a lot, but I don't think about my teenage years that much, And Neon White made me sort of like appreciate that kid. Like here's a game for you, So
well said.
Nice. Lots of cheers. I think a lot of people really like Neon White in it. It was also, again, just even cool watching Sean play it in the Discord the other day as well, getting to see, someone new to the game playing it, because I feel like Neon White's probably a really good game to watch people play, like a good streaming game.
Yeah.
Even like it may be tough for the streamer because you're trying to pay attention to that while also paying attention to chat, but seeing people do ridiculous things in Neon White seems really fun, which is why I'm so excited to actually get a chance to try it out now, which is cool.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe I'll be one of you guys pretty soon. We'll see though. But Sean, as I mentioned, we are doing bottom up. So you are next in the order here. What is your favorite game of the year?
Not even sure what bottom up is referencing to.
As
Matt,
in starting from the bottom and then now we're here.
It's okay. It doesn't need clarifying. It sounds funny.
Now we're here.
From the bottom, now we're here.
Now we're here. That's fine.
6.
Who guessed for me? Who guessed for me?
I
Matt?
guessed for you. I guessed
did you
Elden
say?
Ring for you. Which was in your number
you were
2.
wrong.
So
You're
I
right.
was wrong.
Okay, you were wrong.
Mhm.
I appreciated
Yeah, I was
the
wrong.
rundown before. I'm a simpleton and I lost track after the second person, so you'll have to remind me as we go through here. Yes, you were wrong.
I was wrong.
And I'm actually, it's almost like Ryan has been podcasting with me for a very long time. He knows exactly what you would have guessed right, Ryan?
Probably.
Would you have guessed right?
Well, I don't
Ryan,
know.
You'd have
yes.
guessed.
Hold on, wait, Ryan, what do you think?
If I had to guess for Sean specifically,
Yeah.
and it's not Forza Horizon 5, it has to be something else besides.
It is this year. It's not Forza Horizon 5.
Yeah.
I will say, my real 2020, I'm going to give you my 2022 answer here,
Yeah.
but probably the most fun I still had playing a game in 2022 was Forza Horizon 5.
That's what
That
I
game
thought.
is
That's where my mind went
ridiculously
to when you were
special,
talking about
but
that.
I have a legitimate, this year, number 1.
Yeah. I don't know.
What do you think, Ryan?
You guessed it, Ryan Turford. Just like Seth, my number 1 game of the year is Neon White. This game
Let's go.
is
Come
so
on.
special. Oh my gosh. And you know what I love about this? High fives to Matt. Yes, thank you.
Yeah,
Look at us all high
high fives.
fiving each other. This is
Look at
amazing.
this.
Oh, I
Yeah.
did something. I just chose to
Good
like
stuff.
a game that's actually really good. I'm not even going to try to, describe the game in any of the same ways as Seth. Everything he says is absolutely true. I think the reason that this tipped over Elden Ring, at least at this point in time, is because the immediacy of how the game felt. And I think that's one of the things that's fascinating about this is you can, Seth can wax poetic about this game and all those things, and they're totally accurate. And I'm looking at this game just from kind of what Matt alluded to earlier, from a level design and from a feel and from a rules of engagement, premise, really good. But you jump into the level and you're like, oh, this is stark and a high contrast, but yet very colorful. And what am I going to do? Oh, I'm going to jump over here. Oh, that feels great. And I got this little power up. I understand it. And you start stringing these things together. And just as a video game, it feels excellent. And that is so rare, especially in these day and age. You got to play a game for 40 hours so that you can appreciate the final 60. That's not what this game is at all. This game is out of the gates. You get it. You understand it. It feels amazing. More games should feel this way. I'm not really sure what rabbit ears everybody is making as I say this. Oh, there's a puppy in the background. Aw, cute puppy.
Oh,
Can you? Neon White is something that I'm proud to say that it's my favorite game of 2022. I feel like I will look back in a couple of years still and go, yeah, that was unique. It was special. Elden Ring is an evolution, I would say, of Bloodborne is another masterpiece, and not to take anything away from that, but I have played that kind of before. Neon White was totally new and totally unique, very fresh, very bold and courageous, I think, too, as far as just totally going out there. And I feel ashamed that I slept on it for as long as I did because of the card stuff. It's just so silly. And I think that's something I'll be taking with me in 2023 as I see what other people are playing and the games that are coming down the pipe and remaining open-minded to a different type of game. That's my huge takeaway this year, is I was closed-minded to it. I don't like being closed-minded. I don't like when other people are being closed-minded. And just like so many other things, like when I played Persona 4 Golden for the very first time, where I thought those games aren't for me. And it totally is. And this is like that. And I could go on, but yeah, Neon White, so special. And I'm so glad that Seth, I think it was actually you who talked enough about it. And I'm like, maybe I'll give this a shot. Picked it up on sale. It's part of my cramming session. My game of the year, 2022. Thank you, Neon White.
I think something that Neon White nails so much too that I think we kind of lose sight of in a lot of discussions It's some of the most fun I've had in a video game this year. Like just pure joy, just pure fun all the way through. It's not like there's a story you can dig into, there's mechanics you can learn, but it is just a blast to play, and it is from the first second you hop into the first level, and it carries all the way through the game.
Big time. Yeah, that's exactly what, like I said, that's kind of what tipped it over for me, was like, as a video game, from a gameplay standpoint, this is just, it's top notch. Love it.
Nice. I'm glad that the cramming session really paid off. All three of your picks really influenced by that. And I think I probably would have been closer to maybe guessing Neon White if I was on the show with you last week instead of Dave, but I'm glad to hear it, man. That's pretty awesome. There you go. Well, as for me, actually, Garrett, you said you think you know mine. What do you think mine is before I say it?
Well, I'm not sure if you mentioned it before in your list. I think it's Live Alive.
And wait, and Matt, who guessed? Wait. Who guessed? You have to remind me.
So,
do it in between everybody, please.
Okay. Kato guessed for Ryan Bayonetta 3.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Look. Just to throw it in there, just to tell everyone else, Bayonetta was in my top 15.
Okay, so I'm not a complete idiot.
No.
Sean's trying to make me out to be.
To be fair, Kato, I was not saying you were a complete idiot. It was these guys. Okay.
Thank you. I know.
Yeah,
yes,
that Bayonetta is the type of game that Ryan Turford should like. So that should be up there. Live Alive was in my top 10, but not my number one pick.
Okay.
Because my number one pick.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Garrett. It sounded like you.
I was thinking of another one, but go ahead. Just go for it.
Because this was a game that I had the pleasure of reviewing, and it was also a game that when I talked about it with other people, was a game that I heard put to people to sleep within 15 minutes of playing this game, but yet I powered through it because I did not like the first, hour of this game. I was ready to put it down. I was ready to call it quits. In fact, I said it in my review. If I wasn't reviewing it, I would have just put this game down and never gone back to it. But I'm so happy I did because it was the best game I played this year. I enjoyed it so much. And that game is Pentiment from Obsidian.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Basically, you're playing this this Eastern European painting from like the 1500s. And it's this murder mystery. And it takes place over like 2 decades worth of time as you follow this painter as he's, just trying to make his way through life. But just the way that the story is written and the way that the character dialogue is written is so fresh versus a lot of other dialogue driven games. Right down to the way that it even displays text because it has these fancy fonts that it uses. And depending on the regional dialect the person is speaking in, it'll then use a different font depending on what region they're from. And then if they're like irritated or something like that, the font will be like scratched over or it'll get scribbled like really quickly. Like the way that this game displays emotion for the characters without ever them having to say a word to you. It was so good and refreshing. I loved this experience, if you can get past the first, day in the game, which is basically the first like tutorial section, the first hour, like I think will love this game out there, dear listener or viewer, as much as I did. I love the story. I love just getting wrapped into this world. And especially too, like it tackled a lot of tough subjects that a lot of other games don't cover. Like, for example, there's not a lot of the games that bring real world religions into their game and have them impact the story in a meaningful way because, of course, the time period this is set in, it was very much, church and state were not separated at all at this point in time in Germany. So the way that plays in off of each other and the way that affects the small town that you're in. And then you see that small town evolve over, 20 years as you play through the game. It was a masterpiece of a game. And I just really enjoyed my time with Pentiment so much. And it's also, again, just one of the most visually stylish games I've seen in years. And I got to give it my props. My favorite game I played this year was Pentiment, and I did not expect it at all either. Like I saw the trailer for it at like the E3 showcase sitting right next to Sean Capri, and we were both like, this is a game. It'll probably be good.
I thought it looked cool.
Game. Yeah, but like neither of us, I think we were excited, but neither of us were like, over the moon or expecting this game to be a masterpiece level game.
I picked it for fantasy. Don't stop looping me in with your your low expectations. I was there from day one. I picked it with fantasy. It ended up getting like 86. It crushed and buried and destroyed Bad Bit and Mr. K Step over the trophy room because they're terrible.
Honestly, it should have been more, but
gosh.
it's just I think there's a contentious nature with this game where I saw people give it 2s out of 10s because they couldn't get into it. So it's just like
because they didn't finish it and they don't know how to review games. That's why.
There you go.
Sorry, I think I said that out loud.
It's just one of those things where I actually think that this would have been not one of the highest rated games of the year if it wasn't for that. So got to give it a shout out to Pentiment. I really loved it. And I know a couple of our listeners mentioned Pentiment as well. So shout out to you as well, dear listeners. So there you go. That is my number one game of the year. But
I just, man, can I also just say too, I love how like honest you are about the experience of playing the game. Like, I think that's not done enough, not only just in reviews, but like just in gaming discourse of like, look, man, like I didn't like it when I first started. And if I wasn't reviewing it, I would have bounced off. And like, I love that. I think that speaks to like such a relatable moment for like, cause we all have that, you know, like we all have that as like people who play games, that game that like we just didn't click with it right away. And Ryan's like, look, I gave it the time and here it is, my game of the year at the end of it all. I love that.
Yeah. And in fact, it contrasts to the conversation me and Court actually had, because him and I both actually had the chance of reviewing at the same time, and our reviews are very different from each other. But that was a conversation we had about it where it was just not for him and he bounced off and you know, he wasn't, you know, like he actually ended up, you know, to Court's, you know, good side there. He actually did put the time in. He put like 10 hours into the game and it just wasn't for him. And that's totally fine too. Like I'm always open and honest with this type of thing as well. Cause I like, because I also find like it's also helpful to know that type of information, because if a game doesn't grab you right away, that might not necessarily mean that game is not for you or that you should put it down.
Right.
Sometimes the right solution might be to keep going with it because it might be way better than you think it is, you know, if you give it a chance. So, and that was definitely like, this was the lesson I definitely learned from reviewing Pentiment was, never write a game off because it has a slow start. And I mean, I could have said the same thing about Pokemon, because Pokemon also has a very slow start too, like Scarlet and Violet. But I also really like that game too, despite all of its problems. So I think a lot of games kind of fall into that trap. But speaking of Pokemon, Lachlan, you are next on the docket. I need to hear from you. What is your favorite game that you played this year?
Can I make a suggestion, Ryan?
Sure.
I think Kato should go before me because I'm curious about hers before mine.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's fine.
let her go first, and then I'll go after.
Okay.
Who guessed Kato's, Matt?
Sean, just go ahead. Let's go. Come on.
So you guessed
is it?
Kato's,
Yep.
and you guessed Dreamland Mountain.
Disney Mountaineers.
Yeah.
The Three Musketeers.
Yes.
I just want to say it's a little unfair because you get to see all of the content that I'm posting
I just
about
know
a
you so
specific
well.
game.
It has nothing to do with that.
So
We're just
like,
really good pals.
look, you see my channel, you see Animal Crossing, Cult of the Lamb, and Disney Dreamlight Valley. It's not hard to choose.
Sounds like
which
I
one
had
is
more
my
chances to get it
favorite.
wrong than right. That's all I'm saying.
I don't think so. Disney Dreamlight Valley is my number one. And I went back and forth on this because Cult of the Lamb is great. But this one, I've already put, I think, like 200 hours into this game. And how can I not have that as my number one if I'm putting in so many hours to this game? And this, honestly, I had zero expectations for this game. I wasn't even planning to play this game until they reached out to me and they were like, hey, we're going to send you a code. And I was like, okay, I'll try it. And it was everything I needed at the time that I needed it. And I think that says a lot about just games in general. Like sometimes it's just not the time for you to play a certain game. But this game, it was the right place, the right time. I needed something else to play in addition to Animal Crossing because, look, again, I love Animal Crossing, but sometimes I just need to not be creative And this is that outlet for me where it's like, okay, you can be creative if you want to, but it's so quest driven that you don't have to. There's so many things you can do. You can go questing if you want to, or you can just get materials if you want to, or you can decorate if you want to. Plus, they have cute little Disney characters if you're into that. I'm not a super Disney fan, but I appreciate the Disney characters being there. You know what else I appreciate? Updates. And we get some updates for this game. It's so nice. And they actually like listen to what people are saying and what people want out of the game, which is so refreshing. Not that I expect that out of Nintendo, but like, you know, it's nice. It's nice to feel heard on on what you want. I will say sometimes they like take things away and they make things more difficult, but I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel and we're going to get there eventually, because I also have to take into consideration this is still in early access. So I think it's going to get there, and it's going to be free to play, and I'm curious if that's going to change things for me. But they've said that they're just going to keep microtransactions to just the like additional. It's kind of like a Fall Guys model or a Fortnite model where it's you get the battle pass or the game pass. They call it a star path, and I think that's going to be their route. And I think that's a pretty successful, or it will be successful for them if they continue to update it. So I love this game. Lachlan?
Well, hold on. Who guessed for Lachlan? Matt?
So
me.
Seth guessed for Lachlan, and he also said Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Go ahead, Lachlan.
So my game of the year, number 1, is a game that you can design in. And designing is a big thing for me. I've put many, many hours into this game. And just like Animal Crossing, I will have to say my favorite is Disney Dreamlight Valley.
It is Disney.
Yeah.
Swish.
And I let Kato go first because she basically gave the synopsis and I didn't have to say anything.
There you go.
Of course.
Dude, what if
So that was
Lachlan
really the
Kato was
reason.
like neon
Yeah.
white?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Elden Ring.
That would have thrown me through a loop. No, I took a chance. I let her go. I figured she would mention all the good things about it, and she's exactly right. The difference between Kato and I, though, is she's playing it on PC and I've been playing it on Switch. And so the only downfall of a Switch player is there are so many crashes and issues
goodness.
in comparison to the PC. However, in spite of that, Pokemon was on my list and, that had its issues. So Disney Dreamlight Valley has even worse issues because at least on Pokemon, it never crashed on me. I just love the game. I put so many hours into it when it first came out. Every moment I wasn't working like in my real job, I work from home, but I was just playing the game. That's all I was doing. I was playing the game. You can pet the animals in there too, all the things. So I'm excited to see how it turns out when it comes, free to play for everyone. But I too had very low expectations. Like I am a Disney fan. I have some Disney Squishmallows, but I was thinking it was going to be one of those play it once and you're done type of situations. And I would say it was a pleasant surprise that there was way more to it than I was expecting. All the quests, leveling up all the friendships with all the different villagers. I know Kato doesn't like Donald Duck, but he is my favorite.
Roll.
He just throws tantrums the whole time.
That's Donald Duck's character.
So
That's his thing.
obnoxious.
And no
He gets
pants
angry.
either.
He gets angry a lot and throws tantrums, and it's very loud. However, I'm a big duck fan. I have a Donald Duck Squishmallow. So yeah, that's my number 1.
Nice.
I will say this might be the first game ever where I am 100% a completionist in everything. Like every star path that they've done so far, completed. I got everything. And I don't see that ending because now that I've done it since the beginning, I'm going to obsess over it until the end of time. And that's how they get you. And now I finally can comprehend the Fortnite and Fall Guys and all the other things that do this. I get it. I get it. Because now I want it all the time. I'm like, give me another thing to spend my money on. Yay. Like, I don't know. I'm obsessed with it.
As soon as they have those microtransactions, I will not have willpower.
I know.
I see it.
man.
It gets me in Fall Guys every now and again with the cute outfits. Like, I'm not a Fortnite player, so Fall Guys is where I relate to, but they're going to take my money. And they know it.
They got you.
Yeah.
With the subscriptions and microtransactions.
Yeah.
They're going to get me. Somebody's going to have to have an intervention with me in the future. Somebody plan it.
Yeah.
Someone plan it. Seth, you're on it.
Yeah, I'm on it. I
Also,
think it's a notion.
I'm going to throw this out there as well. I never thought we would ever see a day where we would do a Game of the Year show, and not one, but two people on our show would say that a game from Gameloft would be their Game of the Year, because Gameloft is
Oh my
famous for
goodness.
making just mobile trash for years and years and years, and they finally come out with a good game. So props to
Listen.
Gameloft.
Seriously though, that game has no business being as good as it is. It is so engaging, it's so addicting, and like once it grabs you, it just does not let go. Like I've been having so much fun with it. And again, like, you know, bottom of the barrel expectations, positively blown away. It's so much fun.
Nice. All right, Matt, you're up next. What is your favorite game? And of course, I know that I guessed your favorite game of the year, right? That I couldn't be possibly wrong.
You did guess my game of the year was God of War Ragnarok. And what I'm going to say is this year's been tough. There's been ups and downs, and there's been, you know, the game that I'm going to talk about hit me at a time when, you know, my wife had to go back to, you know, home for a little bit. So we were separated for a month for the first time since we started dating. And it was one of those things where this game just grabbed me. And for a weekend, I was just completely down the rabbit hole. And that is Citizen Sleeper. For a game that I just knew nothing about, had, you know, it was not on my radar. I knew nothing about it, and it popped up on Game Pass. And I was like, you know what? Why not? Let's hop in. I like lived on that space station with those characters for those 2 days. Like, I'm not one to, you know, 100% games. I'm not a completionist when it comes to a lot of video games. But when I rolled credits, I was like, I have to know what happens to these other characters, and I have to try and see through their end to wherever the story takes them. I need to get to the resolution of all of them. The game is brilliantly written. It was such just like a warm, soft spot, even in its kind of almost like cold overworld nature of the game. It's not a game I'm usually into. It's very much just systems and menu based. It's just very much, you know, click on the thing and do the next thing. The dice rolls. Were you successful? Maybe. Continue on. But that game is so special. It's so eloquently written. The character writing is fantastic. And I just, like I said, I lived in that world for a few days, and it's a game that I still think about almost daily. It's gotten a bunch of DLC that I just haven't had a chance to go back and play yet, but I am definitely planning to. Citizen Sleeper is my game of the year, and it's one that, you know, I really truly care about, and I think it's a game that a lot of people slept on. But you know, it's really, really good.
Nice, man. Yeah, actually, like I remember you talking about it a long time ago, and I was like, oh, I knew it was that or God of War, and I was like, oh, maybe God of War actually won over with that. So I was like, that's why I opted for God of War. But that's awesome, man. Again, I know that, yeah, it's just sometimes that it just takes that one special game at that time in your life that, you know, it just wins you over. In the same way that, you know, a game like Super Metroid won me over when I first played it. And that's one of the reasons why it's my favorite game of all time. It's just, it hit me at the right time, and you know, I will always cherish it because of it. It sounds like Citizen Sleeper is kind of that game for you. Maybe not your favorite game of all time, mind you, but similar camp, I think, which is cool.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. All right, Garrett, you got to take us home.
Yeah.
Final game of the year. What do you got for me, man?
And of course, sorry, very quickly to interject. We all said before Garrett got here that his pick was Xenoblade Chronicles 3. So let's see how we did.
Yeah, come on.
That's a good guess.
Oh no!
Oh,
We made a mistake.
that final boss fight drove him away from it, I guess.
my game of the year is Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah, I knew it.
We did it.
Over on the Nintendo
Nailed it.
Switch. Man, what an experience this game was. I really enjoyed the Xenoblade Chronicles series. I played the first one in 2020 on my Switch, the definitive edition, and I really got into it, fell in love with it. Monolith Soft knows how to make a great world, and I knew I had to play the other games once I had gone through the first one. And Ryan's holding up the special edition.
I'm just
Xenoblade
holding it up
Chronicles
while
3,
you
and it
talk,
looks
man. I'm trying to
amazing.
provide you a nice prop while you speak about the game.
Awesome. It's wonderful. I put like easily 100 hours into the first game. And then before I got into 3, I prepared for 2. And so I went through 2. I really enjoyed it, but I think it is definitely one of the odd sheep of the family of the 3 games. It didn't really hit as me so much. I think the mechanics got a little too granular for me. But I love the story and I love the characters, of course. Monolith Soft knows how to make good characters. So when I got into 3, I kind of having mid-level expectations. Like I was really excited for it, of course. But coming off of 2, I'm like, I don't know where they're going to go with this. And they kind of blew off my expectations in every single way with this game. I think it's the most accessible, most manageable Xenoblade Chronicles game of the 3. It eases you in with good tutorials. It's a great role-playing game. Of course, it has the same combat style with all the monsters. It has this MMO-like auto-attacking kind of level. It has some strategy to it. I think it's deeper with the different classes here involved with the third one. But that's just how Xenoblade Chronicles is. What really shines with this one is the world building. This world is fully realized. It is every single area, every single character, the premise of the story between the 2 clans attacking each other, and what's the secret kind of motivation behind the why that is happening. It's just, I don't know, they're masters at storytelling and story crafting. Their characters are fully realized. They're so emotional. There were multiple points in this game where I got so emotional. I wanted to like really, it really hit me on like, what is society? What is humanity? What is friendship? What is like betrayal? What's emotion? What is like, it goes into a lot of deep thought, especially with the writing. There's not like a good guys, bad guys type of deal either. It's more like each character has its own motivation, and the villain is not really like a character itself. It's more like a concept. I don't know how to explain it other than that. But yeah, the end of the game left me crying. I was just like bawling what the ending was like. This game is just really, really good. It threw me around an emotional roller coaster. I loved playing the game. Of course, the drawbacks of it is kind of typical with Monolith Soft. I don't care much about the shopping in this game. It's always so bad. It's so useless. It really is. I don't know why they do it. Some of the extra side stuff, they just, I love the quests. The quests are really good too. It's just this small like accessory type of deals or crafting. They don't do such a good job with it, which I have to, recognize. But the reason why it's the game of the year for me, because it really touched me in like so many different ways. It's a great storytelling game. And yeah, that's all I have to say about Xenoblade Chronicles 3, my game of the year this year.
Very nice, my friend. Oh man, there we
Good
go.
choice, man.
Yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles.
We
also
nailed it,
again.
guys. Wait, go us.
I know.
Go
We were
us.
totally right.
You did it.
We totally
totally
did.
right.
Us.
So us. So in terms of ranking, we all get a point for Garrett. Locklith got one for Court.
Yep.
Sean got one for Kato, and
Nailed
Seth
it.
got one for Locklith. So our 3-way tie is the Nintendo Drive, basically.
Just the Nintendo Drive wins.
All right, then.
Crushed it. Yes. We did it.
Wow.
We're
That's
so
it.
good
That's
at
it.
stuff.
We're the
We're the
best.
best.
We're the best. We're fantastic.
We the
We're
best.
fantastic.
Oh man. Well, that was super fun. Thank you everyone for coming here and joining us tonight, and for everyone who's actually made it to the end of this podcast, because we're currently on hour 3 of this podcast, which is very exciting.
As it should be.
Yeah, as we don't get to do very often. And of course, huge thank you to everyone in the community who submitted your games of the year, and Nagachaka, Fulia, Anna, and Chibi for all submitting videos. I mean, this was a lot of fun. Of course, this is our second year kind of doing this, although first time under the Carpool Gaming banner. And I know it was like really special to be able to get everyone here in one room, because we really just don't get to do this all that often. So I'm so happy we were able to, get everyone together. Of course, Sean's trying to throw me off with his speech, showing off his Chris Hemsworth book again and everything.
Chris
Field, he's a Canadian hero.
Yeah, Chris Hemsworth is a good Canadian hero as Thor.
He went to space.
Yeah.
Thor.
Yeah, Thor went to space,
Nice.
Sean. That was a thing.
Space Thor.
But, thank you to all of my incredible co-hosts here tonight, along with us here at Carpool Gaming. Also, it's been an amazing year with Carpool Gaming, and I just wanted to say a huge thank you to everyone who supported us over the entire year, for everyone who supported us on the Patreon, for buying merch, or saying nice comments to us in the Discord, even just engaging in there just a little bit. Like even something like the Backtrackers came about this year, and that was really special for us as well. So lots of amazing things coming from Carpool Gaming this year, and I just wanted to say thank you to everyone for making this year incredible. And this is, of course, your last content for the year, and we'll be in 2023 the next time we come together for a podcast again. And I'm guessing like y'all are in for a week of predictions all over again as well. But also huge thank you.
Fantasy Critic.
Yes, there's that too.
Yes.
Which, by the way, actually, Sean, are we officially going to crown the winner of the Fantasy Critic, the Carpool Gaming Fantasy Critic League? Because we already know the winner at this point. It's official.
It's not me.
It's not
me either.
And
it's
who,
not court.
is it?
It sure as hell isn't court.
You know who the winner is? It's Matt Sawinski. Matt Sawinski pretty much with the perfect year in Fantasy Critic, because he didn't get any games that got delayed, and he got to counter, and Garrett picked a game that thing. And Sean, I don't know if you saw this. I am currently beating you in second place by 0.06 points. Right.
You've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So the thing about that, Ryan, is I selected Overwatch 2, which is sitting at a 77, and apparently is in early access. So I guess those.
But
don't
you and I
count.
are in the same boat, because I have rumored Metal Gear Solid remake by Bluepoint, which I wasn't allowed to drop. So that also got me 0 points. So you and I are working with the same handicap, my friend.
I don't think that's the same thing. I
It's
think that's my
literally
game
the
drops.
same thing. Because you picked a game that came out, and I can't drop a game that didn't come out at all. So
Shout out to Matt. He picked Starfield. He counterpicked Starfield when we all thought that game was definitely coming out. And also shout out to Kato, who absolutely crushed Court in this.
yeah.
Shout out to Kato for not being the worst.
Very impressive.
Well, actually, you're fourth place, Kato. Just so you know, you actually beat
Yeah,
Garrett
pretty
Nice.
good.
as well.
I beat
Nice.
Garrett.
Yeah.
Yeah. Midnight
Oh
Suns
my
killed me.
God.
Well, Garrett
Three
also
open
had
spots at the end.
Garrett's top two picks were Pokemon Scarlet and Violet and Nintendo Switch Sports,
Oh,
which
dang.
did not.
Oh,
Yeah, those
Garrett.
were bad. Bad choices were made.
No. Oh, and then you had New Tales from the Borderlands, which I was not expecting to get anyone negative points this year, but it totally did as well.
Oh,
So
did it get negative points?
it did get negative points as well. Just like I
course.
lost,
As a counter-pick.
I lost almost 5 points to Valkyrie Elysium in that league too. But man, Court Lalonde counterpicking God of War with me was not a wise choice for him, because he
Might be the
finished it.
worst fantasy I've ever
That might be
seen.
the worst.
You mean
pick.
how he had 0 games come out except for Gotham Knights, which lost him points, and then he counterpicked me and he lost 26 points from the
Counterpick
counterpick?
God of War Ragnarok.
Yeah,
I think he was wanting to be
Incredible.
the worst. Yeah.
I think he was.
That
Yeah.
might have been what
Let's
he was
run-
going for.
Let's run with that narrative.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what he was going for.
But I am very excited for this year, because we're actually going to be able to get Seth and Lockcliff in on the Fantasy Critic with us, and we'll get to see how wise they are at picking games. And so that was super fun. So
Ooh.
Matt's officially the Carpool Gaming winner for Fantasy Critic. He is officially the best. Sean, when are we
winner.
shipping Matt his crown to congratulate his win?
It's already on the way, actually. I've already
Oh.
shipped it.
Yeah.
Oh snap!
Yes,
That's
I've been I've been in you guys didn't know this about me, but in my spare time, I've been venturing off to the mountains
spare
with my
time.
pickaxe,
Yeah.
and I've just been gathering
Black
materials
snickery.
this whole time. That's right. Yep.
Yeah.
Just smelting them down and crafting it all up. I was
You could
polishing
just go
it
to
and
Burger
everything.
King. Just go to Burger King, get one of those.
It's mad. I gotta do it special. You gotta do it right. But you're
Yep.
right. I could go to Burger King and just have a Whopper. That would also be pretty
Yeah, but
nice.
that would involve going to Burger King. Who goes to Burger King anymore, Sean?
Not only all of this, but we have alluded to this slightly in the Discord. Stay tuned very soon for some very important details about the very first ever. Matt, you want to take this one?
Well, we'll have it live in the Discord. We'll have the announcement and the signups live. So if you're watching the day this comes out, you have until 31st to sign up
There
for
you
the
go.
inaugural community Carpool Gaming Fantasy Critics. So get stoked. We'll have more information for you in the new year, but the signups will be live by this point. So get stoked.
Yeah, because I was gonna say this is coming out the day after Christmas. You know, we want to celebrate the holidays right. So, which by the way,
Happy Boxing
and
Day,
left.
everyone.
yeah, exactly. Happy Boxing Day, and of course, have a safe and happy holidays, everybody out there. Stay safe, because of course New Year's is coming up and everything else. So, we just want to wish you a very happy holidays from us here at Carpool Gaming. We hope you're enjoying your holiday week as well. But before we go, there's one last thing we ought to do. First of all, a huge thank you to our special guest, Console Kato, for coming tonight. Kato, where people find you on
We
the internet?
made it all the way through without Sean telling me I'm a quitter. Oh my
Ryan's just been
goodness.
talking for like 20 minutes here. Like I'm trying to.
It's
squeeze
hard.
It in here,
It's hard to
but-
get in edgewise.
Yep. Okay, you can find me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter at Console Kato. Thank you all so much for having me. This is fun.
Yay!
Yeah,
Yay.
thanks for coming live from your living room, your Christmas living room, with all your Christmas decorations way back there. God, that sounds so good. I'm kind of jealous now. I kind of wish I had something
It's
like that.
beautiful.
Whoa,
It's so
aggro.
nice.
Yeah. All right, Garrett, plugs go. We're gonna go around.
Okay. You can follow me on Twitter at Blind Explosion. You can also find me on the Nintendo Shack, part of the Play Some Video Games Podcast Network. And actually, well, this is gonna be a while, so yeah, we're in break, so don't expect anything around this time.
You're not gonna find you now, but
but
you'll find you in the future.
yeah, exactly. And you can look it up on YouTube and podcast feeds and everything.
Yeah. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, you can find me obviously over on the PlayStation Drive, so come hang out with us there. And you can find me on Twitter at burnout_Matt.
Nice. Lachlan, where can people find you?
You can find me here on YouTube at Locklith. You can find me on Twitter, LocklithTWT. And you can also find me as part of the Nintendo Drive.
Nice.
here
Sean?
at Carpool.
I'm on We the Gamercast, the Nintendo Drive,
You are.
and the Xbox Drive, and I think that's it. A bunch of our
Sweet
exclusive
Hanks.
stuff. Sweet Hank, of course, all of our exclusive contents. Please pay attention to the console war room. Excellent. Sweet Hanks, very cool. The post show for the Nintendo Drive, also very good. The Yumi Capri podcast, which was named after like me and my dad and his dad before that, because that's how last names work. And follow me on Twitter at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants.
Very nice. And Seth, last but not least, where can we find you?
Hi. You can find me on Twitter at $2 Hero. I'm also part of the Nintendo Drive with Sean and Locklith and the Nintendo Drive post show here on Carpool Gaming, making shorts and videos and stuff like that too here on YouTube. So yeah, hi.
Very nice, my friend. As for me,
Bye-bye.
you can find me on Twitter at Ryan Turford. You can find us on Twitter at Carpool Gaming, on YouTube at youtube.com/Carpool Gaming, and podcast services around the globe. I almost made it through without screwing that up. So, for Garrett Bland and Matt Sawinski and Console Kato and Locklith and Sean Capri and Seth Sturgill, I'm Ryan Turford. And also, shout out to Court Lalonde as well, who left the show a little bit early.
Yes.
We've been Carpool Gaming, and we're out. Have a safe and happy holidays, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Peace.